Good evening, Metallurgists. What's up? Welcome to another episode of Heavy Metallurgy. It's Friday. It's episode 241. We've been chugging along. Last one before Christmas. Yeah, last episode before Christmas. Hope you're all surviving the shopping season and the bustle and hustle and all that stuff. Alan, how are you?
I'm doing all right. It's been kind of a quiet week. Hello to everybody in the chat. Aaron's in there. Daryl's on his well-deserved holiday break as well. So everybody say hey and congratulations to Daryl for making it through to the break. And yeah, good to see Angelic, Evan, and lots of other folks already joining us for another fun Friday night.
And we have a couple awesome guests, which we greatly appreciate. Bill from the Ninth Circle YouTube channel, which has just been churning out the content this year. How's it going, Bill?
What's been working hard, right? Hard.
How have you been?
I'm good. Like I said, as I was talking about before we came in here, uncrossed, getting ready to record in about a week and a half. Finally, that's been a long time coming. It's been 3.5 years since the demo, and time flies. But gonna record an EP here, so super excited about that.
That's awesome. Good and before we introduce our next gentleman, I just want to say, public service announcement. It's release day over at Bind and Recordings. We put out 2 albums today. Nemeris, What Remains When Hope Has Failed. Members of Woden's Thrones. Well, not new band anymore. We put out an EP a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. This is their debut full-length album. It's fantastic. And Charlie Anderson, the sole proprietor. Well, not sole proprietor. I shouldn't say that. But the sole creator for The Splintered Ore by Weft, his own project. This is his debut release. No demos, no previous, any sort of stirrings on the water. It's just kabam. Charlie, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I've been a fan of the channel, obviously, for the longest time. I think since it started, pretty much. Glad to be here to get people to try to cancel their pre-orders. By pissing them all off. So
right.
And thank you to you and Austin, the Bind Rune guys, for putting the record out. I mean, it's been a journey, it's been a blast, and I think it took about 6 years to make it happen. So
yep, it's been a process. It's an honor to have put it out and to get to know you over the years. And for folks that don't know, Charlie is also involved in PANOPTICON. He is the fiddle player and does some other things as well, plays keys live and, all the good stuff. Mm-hmm. And Weft is, like we said, your debut release, no demo, none of that stuff. A lot of years in the making. There's a lot going on this thing. How do you take all these influences and turn it into a cohesive work of art like this?
Well, I'm glad you think it's cohesive. Because that's always a question. But I mean, for me, it was just a matter of like having a project where I was going to be open to letting whatever spilled in, spill in. So it's funny, like this show is coming at the perfect time. I'm in the midst of digitizing my entire CD collection here in the basement. I'm about halfway through-ish. So I've actually been going through and revisiting a lot of the CDs and records that I've had from when I was a kid. I've got stuff like when 9/11 happened and my parents took me to Target to try and assume that things were normal and like to distract me. I've got CDs from there from when I was like little, all the way through till now. I've always been a CD collector and buyer and vinyl too, but I've just let all of those things kind of bleed in and do my best to musically justify if I'm influenced by something that people would normally find silly. Just let it happen. Have fun with it. I wanted it to be authentic at the end of the day and not put too many guardrails on what it should and shouldn't be. So I'm glad that you like it.
I do. And it's the more you listen to it, it's just a very emotional, very moving record. And I got to say, would you consider fiddle to be your main or violin to be your primary instrument? Because obviously you listen to this album, you're no slouch on anything else you're playing on here. It's all very good, but
thanks. Yeah.
Would you consider the most time invested in violin?
Definitely most time invested in violin. And then behind that, probably bass, actually. I think when it comes to guitar, that's where I struggle the most. But yeah, one of the things I'm most proud of is more so like the arrangements of the record. rather than any of the individual performances. I don't think that there's anything that's like too flashy or technical on there. If it sounds like it, then it sounds like it, but I promise you it's all power chords. Just violin, would probably be the main instrument for me.
And I got to say, the most important thing, or the most impressive thing to me on the album is how you manipulate the violin on this thing. I know you use an electric as well, but there's effects on the thing. How do you make an ancient instrument sound exciting in a metal context, which you have done here? But how do you approach it? Just like, fuck it, whatever? Or
I mean, I think one of the most fun things like to do is to make a violin completely acoustic sound like anything else other than a violin. I had a band, I guess we're still technically a band, called Lactating Yak, that was like a brutal prog rock and opposition project. And that thing was really about just like pushing the limits of every instrument in the band. It was drums with real calf skins, guitar, bass, dual lead saxophones, and then violin. And trying to get that thing to sound like a cow that was giving birth or lactating was literally a part of the mission statement. So I'm always trying to make weird sounds and to do things that are, not just unsettling or dissonant, but playing around with like fun textures and just having fun with it at the end of the day. So it's kind of a hard question to answer, but
I mean, but at times it's beautiful, at times it's scary. I mean, I was just impressed that you're even thinking, is that a violin that I'm hearing right now? It's just very, very obtuse way you approach some of the passages on this album. And I think it's a bit inventive. It's not, My Dying Bride or Skyclad level of stuff. There's some of that there, but it's darker, more twisted at times, which fits the nature of certain times on the album. So I was impressed.
Thanks.
Very cool.
Really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
But yeah, everybody, please, we could probably talk to Charlie a long time about this record, but we have topics to talk about. But yes, please go check out the Splintered Ore, and we'll get him back on here again sometime soon too. So thanks again.
Officially came out today, correct, Marty?
Correct. Yep, that and the Nemeris for sure.
Yeah, I've only gotten to check it out once or twice, so I haven't spent a lot of time on it yet. But yeah, it's a very cool listen. Folks will really enjoy it. So
maybe it's an album you wish you liked more.
Maybe they'll like it, but they'll want to like it even more than they do like it.
Well, this topic, I forgot we even came up with this, but this happened a while ago. Oh, it might be fun sometime to talk about albums we wish we liked more. And we laughed and chuckled about it. Alan kept a mental note of it, stuck a pin in it. I forgot about it. Thankfully, he resurrected it, but it's kind of a fun topic. And it, like Charlie said, we might be ruffling some feathers today. So I got a bunch. I'm sure everybody here's got a bunch. Should we just jump into it, Alan, or is there something else you want to approach before we?
Only thing I wanted to point out was, as we talk about these albums, to be clear, we're not saying we hate these albums. We're not saying these are terrible albums necessarily. They're just albums that we feel like, we honestly do feel like we liked them more than we did. So the point isn't to say just that, oh, the album sucks and leave it at that. It's more like, I can't get into this one, but I wish I did. So everybody, try to, hold off on your pitchforks and such for a bit. We're not trashing your favorite album. It's not personal. It may just be a case of where it's like, I think it's an average record, but I for some reason, it feels like it should have been better than that. That's all we're trying to do here. So it's not like worst metal albums ever made necessarily. I'll have to repeat that, I know, 30 times.
I may have a couple of those.
But yeah, just wanted to try to make that clear before we go in. The goal was not to pick the albums we hate the most. The goal was to pick albums that we just feel like, we should like them more for some reason, yet we just don't.
Thanks, Lee. You didn't have to do that, man.
Yeah, thank you very much. And folks, don't forget, Sunday, go check out the live stream over on Shredbeard's channel. Lee is a big part of that. Absolutely.
Hell yes. Well, Charlie, since you're the young blood, the new blood on the streets here, we'll give you the courtesy of going first.
All right. So how did you guys structure your lists? Is there like an order to the madness?
Chaos theory. Chaos theory.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Well,
order.
I'm going to start off by not just ruffling feathers, but here we go. Hot take. right out the fucking
right off
gate.
the bat.
Right
Charlie's
Well, I'm
snaking,
safe for the rest of the night.
snaking a coil right off the bat.
I gotta be
Charlie's
honest.
taking
I'm
the
a
heat
little
off
bit of
everyone.
a little bit of a sassy motherfucker. I could have really picked any of the Bruce era records. This is the one that I went with because it's the one that I wish I was into more than I am the most. I mean, I don't need to introduce Iron Maiden to anybody, but personal favorite records of mine would be Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Yeah. But I have opinions. Okay. So first off, I think that this album starts on a really strange note. Invaders as the lead track.
It's not a great opener.
It's not a great opener.
Agreed.
That chorus is the most annoying thing that I think I'm just like, fuck, I feel stupid. I feel like I'm a child with like the cube, the triangle, and the circle blocks. Like, I feel like I'm on the playground when I listen to that record. And from there, of course, there are moments that are highlights. Like, again, this is all about records that we know are great, that are classics sometimes, but we struggle to get into. And for me, moments like Invaders, 22 Acacia Avenue has some great moments, but it's got some really stinking moments for me. You've got all the singles that are great, bona fide classics, but as a whole, there's just something about this record that feels more like a collection of songs than something as cohesive even as Killers, which for me is like maybe my favorite Iron Maiden record of all time.
Mine too. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Love
So
that record.
the production, everything. So, I understand that Bruce pushed him in a direction of stardom and just, he does amazing things for the band at the end of the day. It's just, for me, it was always this record that was such a challenge to get into and was kind of the reason that it took me so long to get more into Iron Maiden beyond it. So there's my first hot take of the night. Can't wait for people to find out that they can't return their pre-orders.
All sales
No
final.
refunds.
All sales final. Yeah, we need a binder and banner.
I suck at answering emails anyway, so anybody that wants to return it won't be able to get a hold of me anyway. Well.
Yeah, no, I agree with a lot of your points.
I do
Charlie.
too.
The album has some incredible highlights, but it's got some clunkers on it. It really does.
Yeah, I just wish that I could have more fun with it, because I know how much that record means to pretty much everybody.
Oh yeah.
Plus the hits are so old at this point. It's like any album, any sort of big explosive metal album that's been around for 1,000 years. I don't know. I don't ever need to hear Number of the Beast again. I don't. The song. I don't need to hear 22 Acacia Avenue again. I'm good. I'm good. But Prisoner, someone mentioned The Prisoner. That's my favorite song on the album as well.
Yep.
But
that's what song number 3, and then
yeah,
you got another 38 minutes or whatever to listen to. So
Invaders is very similar to me to Back in the Village, actually, off of Power Slave.
Yeah.
I just don't like the chorus on that either.
Mm-hmm.
Just I don't know.
Fair.
Bill, now you got a little bit of cushion, a little bit of padding. I think Charlie softened the blow. No matter what, I think we're good for the night.
Yeah, like it can't get that bad. Well, I mean, I feel like I gotta keep the hate train, not a hate train, but the popular albums that I think I'm just kind of wish I liked more going. We're gonna go with this. We're gonna go with Metallica. Like
I agree with that one too. I almost pulled it actually.
Yeah, this record is boring for the most part. Honestly, my feelings is that it is boring. Like, I mean, there's a few really good songs. I mean, Blackened's a great song. Dyer's Eve is a really good song. I mean, One is overplayed. I mean, that's like that's the beginning of them making the big hits. I mean, the Black Album is filled with overplayed singles, but this is the very first Metallica like overplayed single. The song Injustice for All is pretty boring and it's almost 10 minutes long. It just kind of plods along. Eye of the Beholder, kind of the same thing. Almost every song on this record is over 6 minutes. There's two songs under 6 minutes, Harvester of Sorrow and Dyer's Eve. And of course, the production on this is where the super sterile, bassless, production. And then also, of course, like Lars kind of pieced together drum parts where, they would record just specific phrases and then kind of like edited it together. That's why he sounds so tight. Like he's never sounded this tight ever on a recording or live, and it's because of the way they recorded it, you know? So I don't know. I know a lot of people think this is the pinnacle of their technical ability and everything, but it's just not that fun to listen to. I much prefer Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets. I feel like they all have a lot more life to them, and the songs are better composed. This just feels like they're trying too hard to write epic material. And like I said, the production being so, unfortunately, the production on this becomes the gold standard for so many bands going forward.
Yeah.
And sterile, lifeless production rules a lot of mainstream metal to this day. And I kind of blame this record for it, you know? So
the
there's my
production
hot take.
it feels like all the oxygen sucked out of the room for that production. It's so weird, but once you get used to it, it's cool. But you got Blackened. I do like the way the album starts. I think that's a good, exciting song to start the album with.
Yeah, I think it begins well, ends well, but I think there's a lot of plotting. Like the song "Injustice for All," to me is just it doesn't need to be almost 10 minutes long. It drags on the OEO part with the I hate that part. I hate it so much. I'm just like, okay. I know. I mean, again, I used to like it more, but it's one of those albums that over time it has not aged well for me. So,
sorry, Alan.
Yeah.
Wish
I could enjoy it again.
Yeah, really good points, Bill. And I'm with you. I wish I liked that album more for the simple fact that it is the first real heavy metal album I ever bought.
Yeah.
And I don't like it very much for all the reasons you already articulated.
Yeah.
So but this is it's my first one. You're supposed to, connect to that one.
And it's not, I'm not saying I hate it, that it's terrible. It's just, you can see for me, it's the cracks are starting to show. Like the Black Album is looming and you're like, yeah, you can kind of see that things are not, something's rotten in Denmark, literally. And it's Lars.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a very weird album to consider as like a transition album, but that's ultimately what it is to me too. And it's a transition between two records that I love a lot more because I am somebody that loves the Black Album. But yeah, the padding, the plotting, and you feel like they're pulling a lot of tricks to get it to sound the way that it does, not just in terms of the production, but the performances. I love all of the rumors about who actually drums on portions of the record. And how Gene Hoglan is rumored to, because they basically just steal the what is it, the first track off of the Dark Angel, the first album. It's literally the same.
We Have Arrived.
We Have Arrived. Yeah.
It's the same kick pattern, right? So it is a weird record, and it sits strangely in their catalog, being from the classic era, but not feeling as classic, with the exception of one.
Yeah.
Ian and Mike, thank you so much, guys, for the super chats. And Lee, we appreciate all you guys.
Yes.
So nice of you.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Alan.
Good
pick, by the way, Bill. That was should have been on my list as well.
All right. I want to start with something a bit newer. An album by a band I love to death. But this one, their most recent, never fully connected with me the way the rest of their catalog does. It is the most recent album from Kira Thungal, The Dark Parade, also known as the Sexy Elric album.
He's very sexy.
Elric with the Melna boner.
Yeah, he is working that stripper pole right there. Is that a sword in his pants, or is he just happy to see you? I don't care.
Storm bringer, more like storm banger is more like it.
There we go. Yeah, this one, it's not a bad album whatsoever. It's actually quite fine. I think I had it as like an honorable mention for my best of the year list. But Kira Thungal is a really special band to me. I hold their entire catalog in really high regard. And this was the first album by them where I felt like, I'm just not fully on board with where they went. And where they went with this one was a lot of songs that are slower. This album starts off, with a really good banger. We talked about, Blackened's a great opening for And Justice for All. Velocity is a great opener for this album. Really gets the blood pumping. It's classic Ungle. And you wait the rest of the album and they never even get close to that point on the speedometer again. The rest of the album sticks to more mid-paced or slower material, and Ungle's good at that, but I don't want to hear every song on the album stick to those paces with Ungle. Ungle mixes things up. In a way, it really did feel to me like they tried to make an album that was really heavily steeped in doom and just took it too far. So again, not a bad album, but I don't circle back to it. It feels like, the first time in their relatively short catalog, to be fair, that it's a step below every other album they have made. And so I wish I liked it more. I wish I could have it on that same tier as all the other albums, but it's just has not gotten there. Maybe someday it will. Maybe I'll get on a big doom metal kick, and then this one will suddenly, rise to the occasion, but it hasn't happened, and it's already been out a couple of years. So I wish I liked Kirith Ungle's The Dark Parade more than I do.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, it is.
Great call. Great call.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels right, because a lot of folks are just like, how can you not love it? I'm just like, I want to love it.
I love that it exists, Yeah.
Like, I'm so happy the band is back and getting props.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like it has that same urgency that like Forever Black did, right? It doesn't feel like the same kind of piss and vinegar that these veterans somehow managed on that record.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you on that.
That's a great way to put it, Charlie. It's like this one, they really did just kind of stick it in low gear and left it there. And it does rob of some of that anger, which is a trademark part of their sound.
Hey, Craig, what's up, man? I still owe you a phone call. I've been busy. Maybe this
All
weekend.
right, Marty, let me catch up on some chat comments over here while we see what album you wish you liked more than you do.
I don't know if this is going to ruffle feathers or not, but yeah, Feldsanger, Ulver.
Oh, okay.
I almost picked that. Yeah.
The funny thing is I own this on CD and LP, and it's cultural significance, I think, might be the reason why. I don't know, but you look at the albums that bookmark this thing, and it's the odd duck in the trio, and it sounds like something is missing on here, because I think I read that one of the guys was on military leave or whatever. He was doing his military service. I don't know, but it sounds like something was missing and they decided to do an album anyway. Obviously the metal is missing on here. Not that I need to have metal on everything. I do like some folk acoustic type stuff. Very infrequently do I listen to it, because I'm rarely in the mood for it. And this here, I like the production of it. I think it's really good. It sounds good. It sounds like Norway in the 90s type of sound, but it just sounds like a bunch of classical treatments. Like, okay, here's the pretty guitar piece. Here's the pretty vocal piece. Just doing the vocal shit, running through the scales, whatever. Why I own this on CD and LP is just collector scum. It all boils down to collector scum, and I just never listen to this record. I keep it around. I'm like, I'm going to check it out. I throw it in. I'm like, I'm just bored. I'm bored. Obviously, Bergtot, humongous album to follow up, and they kind of went the other direction. And then Netton's Madrigal is just a scathing, rip and tear, nasty black metal record with amazing riffs. So odd duck out. I've always tried. I always hang on to it because, like I said, it doesn't suck. It's just it sounds like they're kind of lost and biding time. And this is the result of that. I don't know. Like I said, a classical piece. Here's a little teeny guitar thing. Oh, here's a little vocal thing. And just none of it really amounts to song. There's just a bunch of little pieces, parts, and there's your album. So yeah, anyway, that's my start.
No, that's an interesting start. I mean, that album's a weird one too, because it's their second album. And so it felt like it was always like, is this what they're going to do now? We weren't used to over changing so much. If that album came out now, it wouldn't be so controversial. But at the time, it's like, wait a minute, you did something very different on the first album. Now you're doing this. What's with this band? So you're right. It felt very weird to hear that. Although it's not bad. It's just like, are they an acoustic band now? Are they a folk band now? Were they a black metal band? Confusing being the sophomore release.
It's always frustrating when two legs of a trilogy, are just bangers certified.
Yeah.
Though I feel like I like to think of those two records and then Vargnat, the demo collection. Like Vargnat almost does a better job of being the third wheel on the tricycle than Kveldgesanger does, because it's not boring. It's rough around the edges and it's not cohesive because it's just demo stuff collected together, but definitely more entertaining, I think.
And quirky.
Yeah.
So the demo is very quirky, which you see the video, the guy's wearing like this weird hat and it's just,
it's fucking cool.
It's cool. They're trying to pull some weird style into black metal. It's just an odd mix.
Yeah.
Charlie.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to go with something a little bit more modern as well, because I've been listening to this band a lot last couple of days, last couple of weeks, in anticipation of their most recent record, which I think is one of the best records of the year, one of the best records in their discography, and that band is Bluthaus Nord. And I'm choosing a record that I know isn't a favorite of a lot of people. This is 777, The Desanctification. I believe it's the middle one in the kind of industrial trilogy. But the reason that I wish I liked this record more is that when I listen to it again, and this is one of those records that it always comes back around every couple of years, there is something here to cling on to. There is something here to really enjoy. More even than the other records in the trilogy, which I think are better albums overall. There's something in the DNA of the guitar work here that really reminds me of my favorite Bluthaus Nord records, Memoria Vetusta 2, Hallucinogen, and the new one. There's like some weird thread to the more melodic and beautiful elements of Bluthaus Nord's sound that's present on this one, but it's brought down by just uninspiring industrial drum performances. Like the drum machine is just boring. The sounds are kind of boring. Everything's mid-paced, and it's not really songwriting. It's just an idea repeated. And, it doesn't help that every song is just epitome 7, 8, 9, 10. Like they don't have real track names either to help differentiate them. So like I can look at this and try to remember which ones I like more than the others, but there's really no point. There's something here. This sounds like a playground record where he was throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. But for me, unfortunately, not enough sticks here for it to be in my upper tier of Bluthaus Nord records. It's one that I wish I liked more because there's something about it though that makes me keep coming back. So,
all right.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, it's a band that's got so many different styles and shifts over time. It makes sense there's going to be albums that just don't connect with most fans. But there'll be periods folks like, and periods it's like, well, this period's okay, but maybe not as high. So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
All right, Bill.
All right, I'm kind of piggybacked something similar to what Alan did. One of my favorite bands, and even your favorite bands, they're going to put out an album that you just have to admit is the weakest thing they've put out. And that's this for me. And when this album came out, this is Lord Weird Slow Fag when they were just Slow Fag here, Digital Resistance.
I end up liking that record quite a bit. There's some really good songs on that record.
There are some really good songs on here, but I think I had my hopes were so high. One of the things is I've always felt like this band has never gotten the attention they've deserved, right? And when I saw they were putting out an album on Metal Blade, I was like, oh shit, finally they're on a bigger label. They're gonna get their due. People are gonna see how amazing they are. And the first single, Laser Enforcer, great fucking song, just super catchy, classic Slow Fag stuff. You can hear that, the pulp sci-fi vibe and the Thin Lizzy riffs and everything. And there are some really good songs. The song Digital Resistance itself is really good, but I don't know. There's also just a lot of songs I think that don't hit for me, like Habeas Corpus. And I mean, there's always clever lyricism and stuff, but most of the stuff in between Digital Resistance till Laser Enforcer and then the last song, Warrior's Dusk, I don't know. A lot of it just doesn't hit with the same immediacy and the same melodicism that I've come to love from this band. You know, I love New Organon, the album after this. Is
like that one too.
That one I think is one of their best. I mean, I feel like that's like a total, like, holy shit, they follow up one of their weakest albums to me with one of their best albums. But I really wanted to like this album, but for me, it's my least favorite thing they've ever put out, you know? So it pains me to say it, but it is.
All right. Alan.
Yeah, good pick, Bill. That's one I think a lot of fans have the same reaction you did, that it seems to rank pretty low for a lot of folks. And I wanted to say a big thank you to S. Craig Zoller for the super chat too. Very
thank you, Craig.
Generous. Really appreciate it. Glad you could hop on and join us for a while tonight, Craig. Let's see. All right, let's go with an old school one this time. Another top band. Very good catalog. And this album's good. It's just not that good for me. We're talking the debut from Savatage, Sirens. Great band. Savatage had a really cool, unique sound separate from the other US bands at the time. And I like their early stuff. This one to me has always just felt like, it very much feels like a debut album. It's like, okay, they've got some songs, they're ready to hit the studio. You know, they originally did this for Par Records. That's the version I've got here. And so, yeah, you know, a few songs have come together pretty well. And a few that, you know, maybe were works in progress, or they needed something thrown together to round out the runtime. I don't know. It's not that it's bad, and it's got a couple of classics on it, like the title track. No one's ever going to deny that's one of the best tracks from the early years of Savatage. But you've also got, you know, like On the Run. It's like, okay, that's all right. You know, Holocaust is pretty good, but then you've got like Living for the Night. You got I Believe. I like that track, but then you've got Out on the Streets. It literally is almost like, you know, for every good song, there's another song that's kind of meh. And looking at the track list here, it also just feels like an album that's front loaded. Like side A, I can be on board with, but side B kind of loses the plot a bit. And part of it is to just compared to what comes after it. You know, The Dungeons Are Calling. That EP is amazing. Power of the Night has its flaws, but I think the good really outweighs the bad. Then you get to Mountain King, and Mountain King is a true gem of the entire U.S. metal scene from the 1980s. And no, I didn't skip a record there. You're crazy. There's no album in between there. I'm not purposely leaving one out. You're crazy. You're thinking of some other band. So yeah, you've got all these great 80s Savatage albums, and then you've got one here that is good, but it's not an amazing album for me. It feels like, yeah, it's the warm-up. It gets them going. It launches the boat. That like a boat right there. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's just not for me their strongest album. It's got to rank a little bit lower. Wish I liked it more. I wish I could say it was right there on the same level as things like Power of the Night. But for me, it's a clear step below those. So that is my take on Savage's Sirens.
I love that Alan has a beautiful copy of the one he doesn't like.
I have two beautiful copies of the one I don't like. But hey, I have never splurged for the blue vinyl variant, because that's a pricey meatball right to there.
Well, it seems the chat is turning on Alan a little bit. Don't worry, I'm going to deflect some of the hatred here in a minute.
I knew Frank and some others would be disappointed in me for the Savatage pick, but again, it's not bad. It's just not as good as it could be.
This one should be no surprise to anyone. I've complained about this quite a bit on this channel, but it's not because I do like this record. Again, I'm going to preface this by saying I think this is a good record, and it is Heartwork by Carcass.
Oh boy.
Deep breaths.
Yeah. Here we go. Calm blue ocean.
After all these years, no matter how I can sing along to almost every lyric on this record, I've played air guitar to this record. You know, this is a good record, but at the end of the day, after all these years, it still feels a bit like a betrayal. It just does. If your name is Carcass and you have a killer logo, you don't switch to the most stupid font ever. And, you know, you have one of Yeager's probably least interesting pieces, it looks like it's very clinical, sterile cover, and it kind of reflects. I mean, the songwriting on this album is really good. It's just very, if you listen to Symphonies of Sickness and you listen to Necroticism, Necroticism, the production values are starting to improve, and so is the songwriting a bit, but there's still elements there. There's a twisted ugliness. It sounds like there's gristle just boiling out of the amps as they're playing. It's just, it's worthy of the name Carcass. This here, it does not sound like a band named Carcass. It just doesn't. Again, you've got, it feels a bit more like a Swedish melodic death metal element has kind of infected their sound a bit. Again, it was very popular when this came out in 94. Yep, 94. Again, I still like this record, but whenever I want Carcass, it's not this. I don't put this on. I listened to the shit out of it when it came out. I did. I loved it. It's a good record, but I just never, once the newness wore off, I'm back to Necroticism. I'm back to Symphonies of Sickness. Notice I'm not mentioning Reek of Putrefaction because that record is a mess. It's just a mess. But this record is a good record, but I wish I liked it more. It's just too slick to be a band called Carcass. There. Sorry, people. Sorry.
Damn.
A Carcass by any other name would still smell as grimy.
Just as putrid.
Is that what this boils down to?
Right. All right, it's Craig Lamb. Yep.
He's getting Parker and the missus into a witness relocation program before stuff and things happen. Apparently.
Yeah. Well,
so he's being a gentleman about it. Your family will be fine.
I still
look
like the
after
album. I still like the album. It doesn't sound like a Carcass record, though.
We're going to do it feudal style. Craig is going to adopt them into the Zoller house, and then you'll be erased from history.
Yep. And then they put out that Swan Song, which no, that's Alan's. That's not mine. That's not good. Can't help it.
Yeah.
No.
But then Surgical Steel.
That's good. I do like Surgical.
That's good. It's more than good, even. Okay. Well, let's see. How much do I want to piss people off next? Well, we'll play it safe. So, oh shit, I meant to grab the other one too. All right. So this is a band that me and Marty have talked about a lot. One of my favorite bands of all time. They've got some records that I'm okay with calling stinkers, and then they've got some that I just haven't been able to crack yet, and I'm not giving up on them quite yet. I forgot to grab Negatron, but here is Voivod's Phobos.
I love that record. That's a good dark album.
It is a very dark album, and it's a very long album.
Mm-hmm.
And Phobos and Negatron, Voivod's mid-90s records with, what's his name? Eric Forrest. Eric Forrest. Yeah.
E-Force. Yep.
E-Force. Yeah. These records, there's something about them where, again, it's kind of like you're saying with Carcass. I feel like it just doesn't sound quite like Voivod. Piggy's still being inventive. He's still doing a lot of really cool stuff arrangement-wise with the guitar. But you could definitely feel that the wind was taken out of their sails with Snake leaving the band. I think it was this, yeah, and also Blackie, right? He left after Outer Limits.
Yeah, he left after Angel Rat or Outer Limits. You're right.
After Outer Limits, because Outer Limits to me is actually my favorite Voivod record. And so for these two to be the ones that follow it, I just struggle with them a lot. I love the artwork. I love how 90s they look and feel. I even like the production, and there are a lot of great moments. The 21st Century Schizoid Man cover is crazy, but Eric Forrest's vocal style, as good of a vocalist as he is, just doesn't really fit what I want Voivod to be. So I don't know. These are two that I really struggle with. Phobos and Negatron. I wish I had that one here, but I forgot to grab it from my box of CDs.
See, Phobos stylistically, it feels to me like it would have been the proper transitional album between Dimension Hatros and Nothing Face.
Yeah, and I would be very curious to hear it with Snake doing vocals. I'd probably change my opinion a lot.
See, I don't think E-Force is that far off the mark. I mean, you could tell he's got that kind of higher end snarl snottiness to him. He could do the Snake stuff really well. I don't know. I respect it. A lot of people don't kind of hate on the Eric Forrest era, but I dig it. And that record in particular, I think, is really solid. Really, really
Well,
solid.
yeah, and so I'm picking those because unlike some of their 2000 stuff, which I'm okay with not liking, like Contreras and Infinity, it's not really my thing. But Phobos and Negatron, there's something there that I still feel like I haven't cracked yet, and I just need to keep giving my time to 73-minute albums, and I guess we'll get there.
Right.
So
Valid points, though, all the way around for sure. Bill.
All right, this one is not going to be controversial at all, I'm sure, but Dark Throne has a long, winding catalog. Of course, they've got multiple different kind of eras, if you will, starting out death metal, of course, the Unholy Trinity, then they're kind of more Celtic Frost, era, and then, but in all of that, lost in all of it, we have this little conundrum here, which is Goat Lord. The vocals, on this are they're a tough sell. It's like drunken pirate vocals, the music. I actually do enjoy the music quite a bit, but the vocals, it just almost feels like they're fucking with you, like just trying to be like being like, yeah, you like us? Well, let's see how much you like us when we try this.
They did. They started doing that a lot more as they got older.
Oh yeah, and they do, and I get it, but seems to be the first time where they kind of like, okay, we don't need to take ourselves so seriously, and so I don't know. I don't break this out often, but every once in a while I'll try to listen to it again and be like, maybe it's better than I remember it being, and it still has yet to be better than I remember it being. So
sorry, Alan.
it's a tough one for me to crack. I think most people seem to feel that way about it, but I want to like it more because on some level I do think they're taking the piss, and I want to be along for that ride, but it just hasn't happened yet. So yeah, Goat Lord, still a tough sell for me.
I like the fact that they tried to put vocals on basically something that never had vocals, but
yeah,
it sounds so different. You got this rough rehearsal sound they tried to do the best they could with, and then you got these really bright and loud vocals over the top of them. It's just like, oh boy, it doesn't even sound like they tried to blend it any,
I don't think they did. They just
no.
And then the instrumental reissue has like this really weird album cover that doesn't fit the demo nature of the material at all. It's like the giant space hand coming down from heaven, and it doesn't fit. So it's like, there's the original version that has artwork I don't mind, and then there's the one that doesn't have the vocals, but it's got this artwork that's just
it's like a prog album cover, and you're like, this is not a prog album. It
looks like an Archspire record or something.
Yeah.
All right, Alan.
All right. And yes, I want to say thank you to Miss Anthropy for the super chat. And everybody make sure to check out the details in her comment there about their show on Sunday night. All right. Well, I will sort of piggyback off of Charlie's Voivod pick here a little bit. What, too soon? It's been 20 years. It's been 20 years. I think we can do it. I picked this Voivod album. And see, this is the thing, and this is why I picked it. It's not because I dislike it, I don't, but for so many people, this is like a top 5 album ever created, and these are people whose opinions I respect a lot. People like Marty, people like Jeff Wagner. So many people always comment on how this album is, this huge transformative experience, that they just can get completely lost in the voyage of this album, and I have never gotten. I get lost in it, but not in the good way. I get lost in just the I'm confused and not sure what I'm listening to kind of way. Voivod and other folks in the chat have been mentioning it too. Voivod is a tough nut to crack, and not everybody can get into them. I've always had trouble seriously getting into Voivod, but I wish I could because so many people talk about it in such just the highest of terms. It's not just like, oh dude, the album rules. It's more like it's like this album that changed my life. I'm just like, it doesn't change my life. I play it. It's all right. I'm not sure I understand what's going on all the time. So yeah, I wish I liked it, and had it on that same kind of relationship with it that other people do, because it seems like one of those albums that is really meant to grab you and be something special. And it's fine. I don't know what else to say about it. The only thing I can say in my own defense, I have started to play around with the hypothesis that Voivod is a band that's more for musicians than non-musicians. Because when I hear people talk Voivod and really get into it, it's the really technical details of the compositions that really, really get those folks effusive. They're talking like, oh, Piggy's playing so high on these strings, and this chord has this particular, diminished harmonic. But to someone like myself, whose last experience with music was 12th grade trombone, I hear Voivod does wah 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 wah, and Piggy, oh man, when he did that wah 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 wah, and I feel like Charlie Brown just sitting in the back of the class waiting for Lucy to hit me in the back of the head with a football. I can't appreciate Voivod on that level whatsoever because I don't have that kind of background in songwriting and musicianship. And I think that is something that I think it makes a difference to part of the audience, that there are people who can really appreciate what they did because they understand just how insanely hard and unusual it is. But when you take away that appreciation, you're just left with very unusual music that you don't have a good point of reference. There's no context to help you grasp what's occurring. That's my defense. I'm sticking to it. It's not a bad album. I'm not saying that. I wish I liked it as much as so many people did, because I know it's a special album to many, many people. I wish it was a special album to me. Maybe one day it will be, but it hasn't happened yet. There we go. I'll go apologize to people in the comments while Marty...
a lot of people are agreeing with you. And again, I get it. I don't,
I wish, and I really do wish I got it. There's no sarcasm here. I wish I got that album the way that like you and Jeff and others did.
All right.
Sad.
We still love you, Alan. All right. Well, we got this little album here. This ought to... Slowly We Rot, Obituary.
Ooh.
Oh. This is okay. This is a good record. I prefer, when it comes to Obituary, Cause of Death, for me, that was my entry point to the band. And really, they've just kind of been making safe lateral moves their entire career. And, as a metal fan, you want a sound you like from a band to always be that, until you get a band like this that does that. And I'm like instantly thinking, well, I don't want them to do it like that, like that exact, like how I wanted it. Because once you have a whole career of hearing the same album over and over and over again, I mean, AC/DC is another. We just did that whole catalog, I don't know, a month ago with Melanie Loves Death Metal. We talked about the entire AC/DC catalog, and there's eras, some eras that are better than others. Obituary's always kind of maintained the same era, which is fine. The thing that always bugged me about this is the basically scatting, just mush mouthing lyrics. He was making shit up as he went. That to me is lazy. It's lazy. I mean, yeah, writing lyrics sucks. But when you're a gore band, you're writing songs called Internal Bleeding, Intoxicated, Suffocation, Words of Evil. I mean, if you're going to write a song called Words of Evil, actually say some words of evil instead of going,
But he's suffocating. He can't get the words out.
Yeah. Good point. But, there's some good riffs on here. I liked it much more when I was younger. And as the years gone on, I don't care. If I'm going to listen to Obituary, I'm going to listen to Cause of Death. It's just a great record. I got the end complete too, and that's basically Cause of Death Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. And then from there, the self-titled they did a while back was really good. I listen to these albums once or twice when they come out. If I acquire a copy, it just sits on the shelf. It just sits on. It's not bad. It's not offensive. It's good. It's just so flatline. It just doesn't do much to move me. And again, I can't sit here and say that I hate it. It's just, I wish I liked it more. There's so many people that love this, and I get it. It's kind of knuckle dragging, get your aggressions out type of stuff. It's the true essence and spirit of early death metal. But yeah, it's just just a little too safe for me. Are the bombs still coming, Zoller? Do I still need to evacuate the family?
He's gone radio silent, so yeah, you may want to move to the sub basement.
He's disappointed. He's disappointed in me. Okay, here we go. Charlie.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think that's a good pick. And Obituary in general is a band that I've always struggled to be excited by. So I agree with all your points. Do we need another real hot take? How spicy are we trying to get?
As spicy or as mild as you want to be, Charlie. It's all
Oh,
good.
geez. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. I know at least one person in the chat here who's going to literally shoot me.
Oh, I might too. That's tough. That's tough. The riffs on that are too good.
That does hurt.
I'm so sorry, everybody.
I can tell you right now what probably I think the drums on that album are a little stale, but
Yeah.
the riffs make up for it.
So again, in the spirit of there it is. In the spirit of albums that I wish I liked more, I know how much this record means to a lot of my best friends. But when I reach for something that this does for those people, I'm reaching for At the Gates. That's my kind of pick.
That might be something that's going to kick in your crumple zone here when I show it that later.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's something about the production. There's something about how I can hear the quality of the riffs. I can hear the quality of the performances, even with the drums being a little stiff, with them being a little pristine. I don't know. There's this like detachment and disconnection. It feels like listening to melodic Melodeth, but I'm on Zoloft. And like, I know that I'm supposed to be feeling something, but like it's in the room next door. You know, it's not. Like I said, guys, no backsies on that pre-order, but
I already shipped out Eric's. He can't return it.
that's right. So sorry, Eric. But it's an album that I know is incredible. I know it's a classic. I'm not going to be giving this away, selling it. It's going to be one of those records that always comes back into my rotation because I'm sure that on another trip around the sun, I'm going to fall in love with it. It's going to crack. I just, for whatever reason, have not had that moment yet. And I really look forward to it because I love In Flames. I love a lot of their albums that actually are horrible. But for some reason, this one that's a bona fide classic, I don't know what it is. Just I struggle with it. Maybe it's the
Charlie,
Comic Sans font on the spine.
Did you say you love some of their albums that are horrible or horrible?
Yes and yes.
Fair.
You better start up a channel, Charlie. The Metal Theologian. Aaron's going to subscribe to you. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Bill.
All right. Well, I will definitely see. I'll see your In Flames record with. I mean, this is comeback records that I think didn't need to happen. This record. I mean, I bought the deluxe edition, right? So it's 15 songs. This thing drags on way too long. You know, I love At the Gates. I do. I love their original run as a band, but I feel like none of their comeback albums have even come close to hitting, you know, the level of quality that their original run did. I mean, my actual favorite is With Fear I Kiss the Burning Darkness. That is actually my favorite At the Gates record. I know a lot of people do not like that record. I fucking love it, actually. You still have Alf in the band. The riffs are weird, but there's a lot of melody there. Even the weird kind of shitty production from Thomas Skogsberg, I love. I actually love the like under a wet mattress production of that record. But this is it's too slick. It's so modern and polished, and it just feels neutered. Like there's no aggression there. There's no rage. It just, I don't know. Like it. Yeah, I know. This when this came out. I mean, Carcass, Surgical Steel came out the same year, and that's a great record. And this, I feel like, is on the opposite end of the spectrum of wish it never had happened. Wish they hadn't gotten back together, because I would rather remember them as they were than as this. So sorry, but yeah.
All right, Alan.
Yeah, Bill, I would agree. None of the reunion albums really got close to the original run. I don't mind that one, but you're right, it is too long. So it has an issue.
15 songs, like, whoa.
Yeah. All right. This one can be chalked up to a slight generational gap, is what I've learned over time. The album has some good songs on it, but I do not hold Pyromania on the same level as
I just bought that on vinyl here about a month ago. Fucking love it.
And that's exactly the generational gap I'm talking about. There's a 5-year gap between me and Marty in terms of age. If you're Marty's age, this is the Def Leppard album you gravitate towards.
That was the Appetite of Destruction of its time.
Yes. And if you're 5 years younger than Marty, like myself, you tend to gravitate towards Hysteria. Because, that's the difference. That's the album that kind of hits you in your teen years. This would have been the one that, would have been a big background for Marty, and folks at his grade level. I was too young to care anything about Pyromania. Fast forward 5 years, Marty's moved on, and his generation have moved on to heavier, more extreme things. They're not interested in Hysteria. But my class is exactly the right age to get interested in Hysteria. So it took a while, but I figured out, that's the issue with Pyromania. It's just a little too early for me in Def Leppard. And there's another issue with this. Def Leppard's one of those bands where, they come out of the new wave of British heavy metal, but they kind of disavow themselves from it very early on, which has always left a bad taste in my mouth. It's like, for God's sake, is it going to kill you to acknowledge the scene that actually gave you legs and got you up and running in the first place? You don't have to go back and play Tigers of Pantang covers every night. No one's asking you to put an Angel Witch patch, on your tour van anymore. But really, do you just have to shit all over the very scene where you got your beginning? Never liked that. And this was really the album where they were clearly trying to distance themselves. They'd already been doing it for a while, but with this album, it was clear they wanted nothing to do with the area they came from. And this album had a really negative effect on other new wave of British heavy metal bands, because all of a sudden, all of those smaller labels and producers and stuff looked at this and like, well, hey, look what those guys just did. Why can't you deliver a Pyromania to us? So, because we're not Def Leppard. Yeah, but you came out of the same scene. You had the same kind of beginnings. And that's where you started to see a lot of those other new wave of British heavy metal bands migrate towards much more commercially accessible sounds. But they weren't good at it. They didn't have the giant production budget. They didn't have Mutt Lange. They had, Stinky, the guy, who had already been busted twice for looking at kiddie porn, recording them in the back of a pub that smelled like dead frogs and stale dog piss. So, of course, they couldn't deliver something that sounded like Pyromania, but it fucked up their careers because the old fans didn't like them moving towards commercial stuff. And none of the giant hairspray chicks and jock guys were going to listen to them either. So it screwed up the entire new wave of British heavy metal scene. So yes, I have issues with this, and I didn't mean to share that much, but apparently I did. It has some good songs on it, but I don't think it's start to back as great an album as many people do. I wish Def Leppard. Yeah, I wish I was more into parts of their catalog than I am. But yeah, the album irritates me for very vivid and specific reasons, as you have just heard. So I'll stop there.
All right. Eric, another one coming at you. Sorry. And we're just going to get the slate clean right now and At the Gates. Red in the Sky is ours.
Oh.
This is an album. I got this on tape around when it came out back in the day. And it was always one of those things where I liked it, but I never loved it. And, everybody's like, Elf the Gates. Elf, amazing player. And his riffing style is like it's inverted. It's like he took a riff and turned it inside out and made songs out of it. And it fights against conventional riff thinking, which I completely am behind, applaud. But it's hard to listen to. I have a hard time processing this stuff. The songs, a lot of mid-pace stuff, weird, meandering, obtuse riffs. And then you got the violin comes in and out of nowhere. They whatever, shot that guy into the fjord after this album. But
gotta make room for me somehow.
yeah. Thomas, I always thought that he sounds really really blown out. Like they've been doing a lot of rehearsing, a lot of shows. His voice just sounds utterly fried, and it's something he's kind of struggled with over the years. And out of all of the At the Gates stuff, I'm a Slaughter the Soul fan. I love that album. It's a riff album. I can understand the riffs. They flow. They're hard hitting. They were great live. It's the tale of two different bands. And this band I do like. I have a lot of respect for this band, but it's really hard to process and to listen to and internalize. I'm one of those guys, when I listen to music, I have to have some sort of a emotional connection to it. And when the music is so against promoting any sort of emotion, it's very alienating, and I just have a hard time wrapping my head around it. And I've had the tape, I got rid of it. I picked up the CD again. I'm like, I'm trying it again. I'm older. Maybe I know the songs. They leave me empty. So
Maybe we should hang out sometime, catch up.
that song, we could go in separate
go
rooms
out to
and
the
listen
park.
and like, Charlie, how you doing in there? Pretty good.
Oh, I'm doing fine, I guess. Thanks for the kind words, Carbon Stars.
Yeah, there's you make a good point there, Marty. That's another one, kind of like Voivod. The musicianship is very, very unusual and advanced, and that does make it a tough album to wrap one's brain around. So I think the people that really get that album, a big part of it is because of what Alf's doing, and for those of us that struggle with that album, it's because of what Alf's doing in large part.
Yep. All right, Charlie's back.
Is it my turn again already?
It is.
Oh, geez. Okay. Let's go into the realm of the 2013s with an album that I don't think is going to be a super controversial choice. I know that some people love this album, some people hate this album, and I think more than that, there's a lot of people that are just completely indifferent to this record. The reason that I wish I liked it more, though, is because I wish that I liked this album and everything else that came after it more. It's quality stuff. And that would be Ulcerate's Vermis. Ulcerate's one of those bands that I think is really, really special. They're a band that I appreciate more than I enjoy. And that really starts for me with this record. And is Marty still here?
What did I do? My arm
Bill.
bumped something. I changed the wallpaper and everything.
I don't see a Bill.
Bill disappeared. He's having trouble.
Okay. Well, yeah, so this record, there's a lot of really shining moments on it. Clutching Revulsion, Fall to Opprobrium, The Imperious Week. I mean, there's a lot of really solid technical death metal material on here, but this is when Ulcerate's music takes a turn for the weirdly busy and like trying really hard to be emotionally poignant, but in a way that doesn't resonate with me. I don't know. Stare Unto Death and Be Still, Cutting the Throat of God. I know that they're quality records too, but I don't know. This is kind of my turning point where I fall off with the band, and it has nothing to do with the quality. We just kind of part ways, and yeah, that makes me sad. So this is a record that I kind of grieve Ulcerate over. Which is a weird thing because it's tech death, but yeah, I don't know. How do you guys feel about their later era material?
All I've really heard is their latest, and it's really amazing, but it's not something I would listen to very often. What were you going to say, Alan?
Oh, actually, yeah, I don't know this particular album by them, Charlie. I know parts of their catalog, but not the whole thing. I enjoy them, but yeah, it's not something I want to listen to every day. And I know some folks, it's like, the band of the past, 10, 15 years. So cool, but yeah, I'm not on that level, but I don't know this particular album.
It's worth checking out. It's quality, and I think you could pick up any record in their discography, and honestly, it's going to be great. But I don't know. There's just something about that record it's hard for me to connect with.
All right, Bill, everything okay over there?
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. My microphone and camera just said they disconnected for some reason. So
Huh. You're back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what it did, but anyway, back again. So here's another one that kind of probably falls in that band I really love that puts out an.
We lost you. You muted.
Microphone's being weird. It keeps yeah, like it disconnected there, but I don't know what's going on. I may have to log out and log back in.
Even your microphone's disappointed with what you're about to say.
It's pissed at me. It's like, how could you do that? How could you diss Agalloch and say that you don't think their last album, The Serpent and the Sphere, is great? I think one of the things, I don't know, this album just feels kind of uninspired compared to all their other records, you know?
Agreed.
The folk stuff on it's cool, but it's not played by them. Isn't it played by, I think it's played by another, like a folk artist does all the little folk interludes on this record, which I thought was kind of weird at the time. I don't know. It just kind of feels like, and I'm not surprised they broke up after this. It kind of felt like at this point that they maybe were not enjoying playing music together.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of translates through this record of like just all their other albums are great and amazing and amongst, and awe-inspiring, but this one just doesn't quite live up to that high standard. So I'm excited if they put out a new record. I'm excited to see what they do, but because I would like them to, the last thing they do to be something that's superior to this. So yeah, Agalloch, Serpent Pillar and the Serpent, not my fave.
Agreed on all counts, Bill. Agreed on all counts. Yep. And from what I've read, you're spot on that by that point there was tensions in the band. They weren't writing together the same way they had been. So it makes sense why that album feels kind of off. Although I've noticed that some people have really gravitated towards that one over the years, which is cool if some folks have finally gotten into it.
Just not for me.
All right, Alan, what you got?
Marty, Merry Christmas.
I know. I was about to type. I'm waiting for Alan to start whipping out the Halloween, and then here it is. I have a feeling.
No, I almost did, but I didn't.
No. It's not like we're not breaking up here or something. But but I do have to take issues with this one. This is not a bad album. Marty recommended it. Others did too. Several folks really got into this when it came out. It's fine. It's Megaton Swords.
Yeah.
Debut full length.
The album doesn't get as good as the first song. The first song is great.
Blood Hails Steel, Steel Hails Water, Rock Beats Scissor. I can never get the damn title of this album straight. Paper Covers Rock, something like that. Yeah, we've talked about it a lot over the years, so I won't belabor the point. Not a bad album whatsoever. It's kind of cool that the band has their own thing. They don't just try to sound like some random band from 1983, which so may bands are doing these days. But yeah, this album it doesn't connect with me the way it did with like you and Kellen. If Zoller's still lurking, he might be redirecting some munitions, south of the border now instead of towards the Upper Peninsula. Yeah, I mean, all you guys really got into it. And anytime you guys, tout an album this highly, I sit up straight and pay attention because I've learned to, definitely respect your choices. I connect with a lot of the same stuff y'all do. This one just doesn't quite work for me. The guys' vocals are okay. There's an accent. It's not a deal breaker. The big thing for me that we've commented on before is the guitar work is not very impressive here.
They need a lead guitar player.
They needed a lead guitar player. There are points where they've built to this big thing and they deliver this big chorus, and you got to follow that up, with bam, hit that guitar solo, and instead they just kind of fall back and just kind of chug along for 8 bars, or the
solos are really bad,
and go back into the next verse. And it's always like, man, you guys are completely missing the opportunities to seal the deal here. And so, yeah, this album continues to be one where it's like, again, I haven't gotten rid of it or anything. And I've been, pulling a lot of CDs, getting some stuff to send out as VCLT and, trading some other stuff off. But this album, it stays on the shelf, but it also doesn't come off the shelf very often. I can't connect to it. And I wish I could, because I know y'all really enjoyed it, got really excited about it. I wish I had too. I wanted to be part of the cool kids group. Instead, I'm like sitting in a corner by myself, struggling to open my milk carton. Sad.
Try to find the ball that fell off your hat.
Marty, I'm so sorry that my hat offends you. We all know you're quite the Grinch. It is not my fault that Mr. Whiskers was playing with my hat before showtime and yanked the ball off. The cat's gonna cat. What can I say?
Mr. Whiskers has had it with Christmas too over there. What's going on?
Mr. Whiskers is having a great time with he's in the holiday spirit. He's doing a number on this ball right now. He's taking that ball and making it his own. And we're just going to let him have fun with it. And my hat is just fine as is. I am confident enough in my masculinity to wear this hat without a ball on the end of
Your
it.
flaccid hat. Okay, cool. I like it.
Where's your hat, Marty? What's your excuse?
Oh, my hat is it's stapled to my head. No one needs to see what lurks underneath that. There ain't much to look at.
Tom
What's
Warrior
what lurks
looking
on
at?
your list next?
Tom Warrior, yeah.
Oh, good.
All
Marty,
right.
are you Mary?
Yep. Well, here we go. Hidden History of the Human Race by Blood Incantation.
Oh, here
Yep.
we go. Subscribers lost.
Man, this band, I like the EP. I like Star Spawn.
Mm-hmm.
It's Morbid Angel worship. It's good. It's solid. I like the riffs. I like the sound. They start getting into here. We get it. You like drugs. You like messing around with some prog stuff. And this is it's a good album. And I just find something about this that turns me off. And even the new one with the pyramid on it, I can't remember the name. I checked out a couple of the songs, and this is a band that I respect for the fact that they're trying to move the ball forward. They're trying to work in some prog elements, but the way they structure their songs, it's like, okay, really cool death metal part, but they don't get the prog to work with the death metal. It's like the death metal stops and then they go into this weird prog tangent. The transitions are really like herky jerky. It's like two bands fighting for recognition on the same album for me.
That's fair. That is fair.
If it was more seamlessly integrated together, then I would respect this more adventurous evolution. As it is, it's a band, I think, we're watching them try to find themselves through the years on these albums. I really liked their death metal, their straight up death metal early stuff, but was it anything overly special? That's another question. I mean, I like them, but am I going to listen to Blood Incantation over Blessed Are the Sick? Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. For a minute anyway, but the long run, it's going to be Blessed Are the Sick. But, I haven't even bought the new one yet. I've tried a few tracks. I don't see much need in getting it because I don't think it's for me. I just don't think I don't think they've got the cohesion yet in their songwriting. Yeah. But I don't want to take anything away from them. They earned everything they have. They've toured the world. They've done the work. They're very popular, and I get why people like them. And like I said, if you put it on, we're hanging out and you put it on, I'm fine. It's cool. It's just by myself, I'm not spinning it that often.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a good one. And I think as far as like a death metal band that does a really great job of what they're going for right now, that last Venom album, Trance of Death, if anybody checked that out from 2017, is a really cohesive and incredible blend of kind of what they're doing, but there's almost like this metal churchy element mixed in with the death metal too. But whenever I listen to Blood Incantation, I can't help but be like, man, but Venom did this just like 5 years ago, and I like the way they did it a little bit more. I'm with you on that.
Right on. Okay, Charlie.
Oh, geez. Okay. I'm getting like more nervous. I'm sweating more each time. Okay. We're going for gold. Actually, no, I'll go for this. So, as will be no surprise to anybody that listens to the Weft album, I do enjoy myself some good folk metal, some good Viking metal. There are the staples of that genre. The one staple of that genre that I really struggle with, and it's really just this record. The records around it I enjoy a lot more, and I can't even tell you why I don't like this one. But I wish I enjoyed En Sephirim's Iron more.
I don't mind that record. I think they're pretty good.
I don't mind it, but this is heralded as such a classic.
I prefer Winter Sun.
I prefer Winter Sun, exactly. So this sounds to me like Yari doing a lot of what he does better just a couple months later with the Winter Sun debut full length. But here you could definitely feel almost like the Fleetwood Mac nature of this band and how at their throats with each other they were. But instead of resulting in a record where it all comes together and that kind of fire elevates the material, it is more of like a disjointed feeling. And you also feel that sense of like the over commercialization of Spine Farm and what they were doing with some of their artists at the time. As well as like what a lot of these bands were doing at the time. And this one, I don't think it escapes that era for me. It doesn't feel timeless. And I like Winter Sun more than this. That being said, I did catch them opening for Blind Guardian a couple weeks ago. That was really special. They actually sounded really good, and Blind Guardian was amazing. So again, this is like Alan, like you were saying, it's not a record that is going to leave my shelf for good, but it's not one that comes off the shelf very often either. And I've had this one since it came out, I believe, or shortly thereafter. So
I couldn't even tell you the last time I spun that one, but I own it too.
Yeah.
To own it, but I got rid of it years ago. I think just because it was something where I was like, I kind of like it, but not enough to keep it. So, yeah.
All right, Bill.
All right. I know this is a band that Marty loves, I love, and this record is very disappointing. To Kill a King, the
It's not
final.
disappointing. It's a good record.
Well, I don't know.
It's very mellow.
Come on, Marty.
It's very mellow record.
The first song is amazing. The song To Kill a King is exceptional, and I feel like everything after that kind of can't live up to it. Like I was listening to some of it today, and you get to Conqueror, and Mark's vocals sound very, I don't know, just dispassionate a little bit. It almost sounds like he's more singing. And and the riffs underneath it aren't great. There's an awesome solo on that song that's over almost the entire solo, but it feels like they're almost trying to hide the fact that the actual main riff is kind of boring. And the vocals are boring on that song, and you're kind of trying to hide it with this awesome solo. Never Again was kind of, I don't know. Yeah, like this record, I love the first song, but I don't know. I lose interest pretty quickly with it. I love Manila Road. I do. But this is this is a tough sell for me. And I've got a box that my friend got this box set for me in Japan when it came out, and it's a cool like metal box, and it comes with like a flag and all this stuff, which is cool. I just wish I liked this album more, but not one of the best Manila Roads.
It's one that is kind of like the Blessed Curse. I had to really put some time in on both of those records, but they did eventually. I warmed up to them quite a bit. That is a mellow record, though. I get it. I get what you're saying, but
maybe
it's
I just need to listen to it more. Maybe I just didn't give it enough of a chance. I have not really listened to the whole thing in a long time.
Yeah. If nothing else, though, Bill, I kind of agree, because with it being their last album, I want to like it more in terms of go out, in like with a really glorious bang, final album in the catalog. You kind of want it to be something special. It's fine. Yeah. It sounds like a lot of the other Manila Road albums late in their career. It kind of starts feeling like another Manila Road album, not the highlight that, bookends the career.
It doesn't distinguish itself from much of the later catalog. And that's probably what it really boils down to.
But
I'm with you on that.
It's still Manila Road.
It's
you
still
listen to it, it's like, it's
even
like,
even a weak Manila Road album is still a good album.
Yeah.
Just not amazing. Just not amazing.
No, it's not that it stinks. It's just that, it's, you wish you liked it more compared to other stuff in their catalog. It doesn't measure up. I get that.
I have a bit of a sentimental attachment there just because that's around the time that I got to see them live.
Oh, cool.
So in a room of like 15 people.
So sad. Really sad. Yeah.
It is sad that Yeah, that is very sad.
All right, Ellen.
All right. I promised Frank another new wave of British heavy metal album, and let's do that one now. Classic band. Some folks dig this album. I just don't connect with this album. I wish I did, because it'd be really cool to say that Venom had like an unholy trinity. I think they have an unholy duo, and then they tried to go to at war with Satan. Even the title's confusing. Are you at war fighting with Satan, or are you at war fighting with Satan?
Alongside Satan, we're together. That's how I
Is
take
it with? Is
Or,
it with, like,
or against, right?
we're on Team Satan, or is it like, Satan, we're done with you. We're cutting it off. You see, even the title didn't quite work. It's like, come on, guys. Where are you going with this?
I love this album too, Eric.
Yeah.
I wish I loved this album. Yeah, it just, to me, again, first it feels like a big drop off from the first two, but they're trying to do something different, and I want to give them cool points for that, because up to this point, Venom has very much just reveled and made a career out of being the lowest common denominator, and we love them for it. And now they're trying to do like a 21-minute long prog, great epic thing. And let's be honest, they don't have the chops to pull that off. They just don't. It's not a terrible song. They give it a good try.
They did good. They tried.
Yeah. They try. It's not terrible. It's not a barn fire. But at the same time, it's just like, this is, I listen to it and I feel like this is absolutely every single ounce of talent they can wring out of themselves to try to make something like this work. And it's just barely working. It's working, but man, it has no room for error at that point. Which just always makes me feel kind of sad. It's like, you could never do better than this. You can barely do this. And then, you get to, side 2 has songs that are a little more in the Venom idiom, but is there anything on here that can measure up to the stuff from the early singles and EPs in the first 2 albums? I don't mind Rip Ride. Women, Leather, and Hell's okay. Yeah, but you're ending on the stupid ARG thing. Stand Up and Be Counted has never been a favorite. So it feels like, yes, you've got this grand master plan taking up side A that doesn't quite, maybe kind of sort of not, but does get there. And then, we need some songs for side B. Sure. Venom songs aren't hard to write. Let's throw a few together. So at the end of the day, that was just like, it's not a disaster. It's not as bad as some of the things that come after it. Venom really starts to lose me quickly after this. But I really do wish I could just say, like, yes, this one, you go, welcome to hell, black metal, and then we're at war fighting with Satan. And that you could just have, the Father, the Son, and the unholy spawn. And no, it's more like great album, iconic album, and an album that looks like a book. At War with Satan, I wish I got into it more than I do. I just don't.
Hindsight's 2020, but it's pretty interesting seeing that album comes out where they're doing shows with Raven and Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
The writing's a bit on the wall. They're taking a thrash band out on the road with them. And
getting owned by them.
I love At War with Satan, but you can tell by listening to that album, they lack the tools to integrate with what's coming.
Yeah.
They don't have the drummer that's going to propel them into the thrash sphere if they want to go there.
They don't have Lars,
Yeah.
They don't have Lars.
Yeah. Where a band like Raven, they're that band, kind of an anomaly. The fact that they survived the era of new wave of British heavy metal and they're still putting out records, but guess what? They still kind of kick ass. They put out a couple duds. The Atlantic years weren't great, but still at the core, man, what a good band. Amazing bass player. They always have a good drummer, great guitar work, great riffs, great screaming. They had the chops. Venom did not have the chops. Venom had the shtick. Raven put their drummer in a hockey outfit and shot fire out of his neck and shit. But it just, just Venom, they weren't able to integrate with what they took out on the road with them. They were probably getting stomped. If it wasn't for all the pyrotechnics, Venom needed that shit. I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong here. I love Venom songs. I love the First 3 albums in particular. They're fantastic, but they needed all the bombastic shit because their drummer was so bad. Couldn't keep meter. His fills sounded like potatoes rolling down the stairs. Not good. And, charm can only take you so far, especially when what's coming up is so much more technically advanced and so much more aggression. Anyway, this is a tangent. Sorry.
Marty, talk for 15 more seconds. Buy me 15 seconds.
Okay.
I was gonna say that Venom didn't have the talent. They had cocaine. That's what they
I
had.
was gonna say it's like they had booger, sugar, bravado, but they didn't have the brains to pull off an episode.
Cocaine
They were
and
like,
dreams,
what?
But talent, no. But I love them for it. Like, it was like they were just 3 meatheads that had this whole idea, this shtick, and just they didn't like to practice much, obviously, and that's okay. They were good at one thing, and that could only last so long,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were just like one stripe 2 black metal to be in the decline of Western civilization part 2. But you're kind of crossing your fingers that they make an appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We good?
No, you bought me the time I needed. Everything y'all just said makes perfect sense, and it made me realize Venom are the creodonts of heavy metal. But Alan, what's a creodont? Okay, when dinosaurs went extinct, obviously mammals could take over the place, and you had this lineage of mammals called creodonts that quickly became like the top apex predator among mammals.
Did they have feathers too?
Nope, they do not. They're mammals, Marty. They don't have fucking.
Oh, they're
feathers.
saying the dinosaurs had feathers now. I'm just trying to clarify.
They were extinct. These are mammals. Basically, a creodont. Just picture a hyena on steroids. All right.
Oh, I've seen one of these things. Yeah.
Yeah. They're like a hyena on steroids. Big, bulked up neck, jaws, but kind of a scrawny body. They definitely skip leg day at the gym. but they terrorize the landscape for a good long while as soon as dinosaurs go extinct. But as soon as conditions changed just a little bit and some other mammal predators start evolving, creodonts go extinct. They had this brief moment where they were the most extreme thing, but as soon as there was some competition that was just a little bit better, they folded. They could not continue, and they got wiped out of their ecosystem really quickly. So Venom are the creodonts of heavy metal. That will make sense to at least a couple of folks.
I love that.
All right. It's my turn.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Well, you know what? Here we go. I'm showing a twofer here.
Oh, man.
Dark Angel, Leave Scars, and Time Does Not Heal. Leave Scars, I did like this album quite a bit when it came out. And Time Does Not Heal, as this band went, they made it harder and harder and harder to really love them. I think the hype sticker on Time Does Not Heal was like 291 riffs on this album or something. And you know what? A bunch of riffs does not a good song make. It just doesn't. It's riff salad. I like the way they're presented. I like the attack. And overall, I like the idea, but I feel like these are albums I should like more than I do. I think, street cred, I think people like Dark Angel, and I'm like, man, and wonder why their new album is flopping. Gene, he's a great drummer, and he can play guitar well. He writes good riffs, but he writes too many riffs and not enough good songs. Cut 3/4 of the riffs out of these songs, each song, and make 4 albums. 4 good albums. You're a great thrash band. You've proven it on your first 2 albums that you can write good songs. They just got too busy, too complex, and it isn't the AI cover that's pissing people off so bad on this new Dark Angel. It's because the songs just aren't that great. They're just not that great.
It reflects the same kind of lack of effort, I feel like.
Yeah, or they're just trying to ride on the the name, the brand, and the brand. It's got a fan base, and again, there's a classic nature to this band that the name has endured, and there's kind of a legacy going on. But it's just the fact that I feel like I should it's not cool to say I don't love these albums. It just I don't care. I don't love these albums. These albums are structurally a fucking train wreck. It's just a mess. It's the way it is, and I wish I liked them more, both of them.
No
Those are
quality.
good picks. I didn't think of those. I probably would have put them on my list.
And that album cover for Time Does Not Heal makes it even harder. Like the pearl clutching girl running away from
Young Taylor Swift running from the loud music.
Yeah.
Oh
No.
But,
Like
but let's
Laura
not forget on the
Palmer.
previous one, we've got like, how many stuffed animals are on the cover of that previous album?
Oh my God. Yeah.
I mean, there is a point where you can have too many stuffed animals on the cover of a dark thrash metal album. That number is 1.
Yeah. All right. Charlie.
All right. Cool. So staying in the spirit of the 90s, I'm gonna go with I don't know what you guys are gonna make of this one. A band that I love, a record that I appreciate, but it's not
Here.
cohesive.
We'll do a twofer.
Oh, man.
We'll cross the streams here. Go ahead.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
first.
Are we sword fighting tonight? All right.
Sword fight.
It's there's so much brilliance in Atheist's discography. It's kind of like Ulcerate. It's one of those bands where I really appreciate them more than I enjoy them. Unquestionable Presence, I like more than you, I would say, Marty.
I like the album. It's just they're getting too highfalutin for me.
And that's how I feel here too. It's like the straight up like cumbia jazz fusion moments. They're not the band from this era that I want to hear do that. The Euroboric Forms Cynic Dynamo is kind of like the beginning and ending of that style for me. And I like Atheist more when they just stick to their guns. They're one of those bands that doesn't have to try so hard to be inventive all of the time for me to feel like I enjoy them. And the album artwork's great. I think it's really cool. I love the kind of airbrush style that they got going on. Some great details there, but it's one of those records where I pick it up and I stare at the cover while I'm listening to it, and I think more about the artwork than I do about the material within. So that's my Atheist pick.
I'm just gonna throw myself in here too, and I'm gonna say I do like this album. Atheist for me is with a Piece of Time, the debut. Time, yeah, it's Piece of Time.
Yep, Piece of Time.
Yep.
That album is the perfect mix of tech and songs. They're very catchy, awesome bass work. Here, it's a lot more prog, and I struggle with prog. I just do, and it just starts to sound like it's rising into an IQ that I'm incapable of following. If I want to listen to jazz, I'll flip around on the local radio station and get it. I do like this record. I liked it a lot more when it came out than I do now. I never grab for this. And that album artwork looks like something I would have found at the Rainbow Bookstore. It was a Christian bookstore we used to have here in Traverse City, but then it says Atheist at the top. So it's kind of a,
Yeah, it looks like a Marillion album cover.
Oh yeah.
Has this got fish on it somewhere?
A little jester like in the background or something.
Yeah. All right, Bill, you're up. I just had to throw that in there. I'm with you on the Atheist.
In the same vein, too prog for me. Like I the only prog album by Death that I really like, I do like Individual Thought Patterns, I think largely a lot of that is because that lineup is great. You got, and all the Andy LaRocque like lead stuff on there is awesome, and he's one of my favorite guitarists. But you get prog, and Steve DiGiorgio's gone. You have Gene Hoglan's still on this, and of course he's a great drummer. But I don't know. I always feel like the prog era, like Chuck, kind of like Blood Incantation, really struggled sometimes to integrate cohesive songwriting with all the complex riffing and guitar playing, and it just it's never quite gelled for me. Like I said, I don't hate this record. I own all the Death stuff. I realize how influential it is, how it pushed the genre to the next level and everything, but I don't love it. I know, human and symbolic, I just don't love it. So I know a lot of people, and I knew a lot of people are gonna be like, "Fuck you, you asshole," but you know, yeah, like, I mean, I just can't get into that one that much. I try, I still listen to it, but
Yeah.
I don't love it.
Yeah, I do love that one, but I can understand why it's not for everyone. That really is the point where Chuck has changed the formula a lot, and it's it's probably just too far.
Yeah, you
too
can
much
tell.
change for some folks.
I get it. He's over death metal to that at that point, and you can
Yep.
you can tell. Like, he's just like,
Mhm.
I'm moving on. You can tell, and that's fine, but not for me.
No, that's fair.
All right, Ellen.
All right, I'm going to sort of piggyback off something that Marty mentioned earlier with Blood Incantation. You made a good point that you felt like they just didn't integrate the death metal and the prog parts well enough, and I feel the exact same way about another very popular, very very popular band. I didn't bother picking an album because I don't think it matters which one you pick. Opeth always had that same problem for me.
I almost
And
picked
again-
Opeth too.
and this is another one of those bands. I tried so hard to like them for so long. I bought the first probably 8 albums as they all came out. This was a band I was on from day one. I picked up every album and kept trying and kept trying. And at some point, I finally realized, they play death metal for a couple minutes, and then they back off, and then they go back to death metal, and then they back off. And that just shifting gears back and forth didn't work for me because it always felt too abrupt. And it was reinforced when I saw them live. I've seen them live at least twice, I think. And it's kind of the same way, they'll be, crushing on some death metal part and people start trying to mosh around and throw elbows. And then it's just like a dead stop and it's all acoustic and mellow. And like, you can literally see like the mosh pit's like, oh, sorry. Fix my tie here for a minute. Yeah, cool. Proggy. Oh God, they're going heavy again. Wham, wham, wham. Oh wait, no, stop. I remember somebody looking at me, in the middle of this one time. They're just like, "What are these people doing?" I'm just like, I don't have any idea. That back and forth. To me, it never felt like they integrated the two styles together very well. It was either flip the switch to death metal mode or flip it to 70s prog mode. They sound good on those two things individually, but I didn't like the way they were failing to mesh them together. And it was just always kind of a barrier I never could get through on any of the Opeth albums up through. I bought these 3 individually. I bought Still Life as an import when it came out. I bought whatever came out after Still Life. And I finally just realized it just wasn't going to work for me. Yeah. So yeah, and it's such, they've become a classic band. They're a hugely influential band. I really wish I connected with, parts of their catalog more than I do. But I'm also tired of going back and trying to convince myself that I like something that I've worked at for 30 years off and on, and it never came together. I kind of made my peace with the fact that Opeth's just not the band for me. So, bummer. I wish I could be in the Opeth fan club with everybody else, but I'm just not there.
It's one of my favorite bands of all time, but I have to agree with you on an element of them, which is I do feel like there's always kind of like you put on a record with an asterisk. You have to really be in the mood for that album. And there's no Opeth record that I could say like, no matter what day it is, like I put that on, it's going to be a great day. Like
this will be a world rocker. It's not a world rock. Yeah.
I mean, but like
interesting.
Some of my favorite records of all time. Like, but I agree with you there. And I almost put Still Life on my list because to me, I struggle with that record because I think some of it's drawn out and it just feels like a repetition and a rehashing of My Arms, Your Hearse. So
interesting. Yeah. There's repetition is an issue with me on some of those albums too. I've made jokes before that if you read through the lyrics on like the first couple of albums, every song is just different combinations of the same 3 lines. I stood in the darkness. She looked at me. Things were sad.
Oops, I
Somebody's
ripped
looking
my
at
sweater.
someone. Sorrow.
Just recombine those words and you have every Opeth lyric from 8 years in a row. She looked at me and I was sad in the dark. In the dark, I was sad as she looked at me. It's every bloody song. So yeah, the repetition just always gets to me too. I'm expecting the music so technical and everything, like it's probably like really profound, deep lyrics and all kinds of subtle references. No, there's a lady, she's sad and it's dark, and that covers Opeth.
One of them's dead, and the other one can't see that they're looking at them when they're sorrow.
That they can't see because it's too dark, and she's sad because she's dead. Yep, sad dark lady.
Hell
I think
yeah.
Uriah Heep wrote a song called that, but that's for another time.
All right, Charlie. I went on a turn with my atheist, so it's up to you.
Oh.
now.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so keeping in the spirit of prog, I'm gonna actually pull a record that you guys may not be familiar with. This goes a little bit outside the boundaries of metal, but I think it's adjacent enough that it's appropriate for today.
Cool.
So speaking of Opeth, I think that one of there's a couple bands around Opeth in Sweden in the 90s when they're first getting off the ground that Michael Ackerfeld never talks about or acknowledges when he talks about progressive rock, but I know that there's no way he's not listening to them. One of those bands, who I think is one of the most incredible progressive rock bands of all time, and certainly like a staple of 90s prog, would be this band, Anglagard. And I am presenting their second record, Epilogue. So if you're into the kind of Mellotron-driven, really sad but not cheesy kind of folk prog thing, Anglagard is an incredible band. They have their first record is called Hebris. It's one of the most rare, expensive records that I've ever tried to buy, and I failed. I got outbid, which was a good thing for my bank account. And this record, it's literally called Epilogue, and that's what it feels like. It feels like an addendum. It feels like the unloved appendix that they just whipped together while they waited another 25 years to put out another album. Like, I don't know what to say beyond that. There's still a lot here that's really good. It just doesn't feel as inspired as I would hope for it to be. Because again, when they're at their peak form, they're just one of the most incredible bands, period, to me. You spell it, I don't have a way to type in here, but Anglagard.
Are you on a computer, Charlie?
Yeah.
You should be able to access the chat. Do you see the chat bar on the right side?
Oh, I got to connect my YouTube. There we go. Let me see. Okay, I'll type it in the chat for everybody. But yeah, so that's my one weird, a very obscure album that I'm going to choose. Oh, somebody's got me covered here. Yeah, yep. Anglagard. But yeah, and the bass player Johan, I actually got to open for these guys in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania at Rite of Spring Festival in like 2016, 2017, and they put on one of the most incredible shows I've ever seen in my life, which is where I got this CD copy of this album. But again, I think everything else that they've ever done, including their reunion record, it just stands head and shoulders above this. So this is kind of like an album I wish I loved more, but also an excuse for me to talk about a band that I wish more people knew about, because they are unfuckwithable when they're at their peak, which is most of the time.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know that one.
Interesting.
Not my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I've
You
never
would
heard
like
of
it,
them.
Marty. I promise you.
Probably not.
Marty is a bit gun shy of the prog rabbit hole.
Bill.
Fair enough.
All right, this is what gets me banned to never come back. I had to.
I'm gonna go take a walk around the house real quick. I'll be right back.
I know. No, I mean, I'm not dissing on this record. I don't hate this record, but I don't know. I just feel like when I got it, I expected it to be the most amazing thing I've ever heard.
Is it over yet? Oh wait. No.
And I don't know. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Halloween fan. I'll admit. I do like Halloween. I'm not the biggest Halloween fan, and so this, I like it, but I just can't connect with it as much as I would like. The funny thing is too. So I bought originally I bought the vinyl, right? I bought the vinyl at a record store, and I got it home, and it had two of the, it's a double LP, two of the same record. It was two side C and side D albums in it, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And it was not cheap. It was like $40 or something.
Yeah.
And then I tried, to like, they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll try to like return it for you or whatever." But
At least you had Skyfall twice. That's good.
Yeah. So I bought the CD, and but I still have that double LP that's got the two. It's like a novelty collector's item because it doesn't have the first half of the album in it. But I don't know. I've listened to this twice. I haven't listened to it much since it came out, and I haven't listened to the new one. I need to listen to the new one. I really do like Walls of Jericho. That first couple gamma rays I've gotten into in recent years, and I like, but I don't know. I guess I'm just not ready. I'm just not ready yet for Halloween. So
it's only the best
Marty.
band. It's only the best band on the planet. That's cool.
I know. I'm sorry, Marty. I was thinking about it, and I was like, shit, I have to.
That album too took me a few times to wrap my head around because there's a lot of material on it. There's a lot. There's a lot. But once it clicked, I'm like, holy shit, I couldn't stop listening to it.
But I have to approach it again here, and like I said, it's been a couple years since I've listened to it again.
So like what you like. Sometimes it just can't put a square peg in a round hole.
And it's not that I dislike it. It's just like it's still something I have to try to wrap my head around.
Yeah. Well, and too, I mean, I get where you're coming from too. I mean, if it's a band that you're already kind of, maybe a little lukewarm on, but then you hear other people, some of whom may be on the screen right now, hype the album so much, you do feel like, man, I wish I got into it as much as those guys did.
I want to love it.
They are loving it. They're getting great joy from this experience.
I think European power metal in general, I want to love more, but I still haven't found a band that I've really that's blown me away. For me, it's just like I somehow struggle to connect with the European power metal stuff.
I do want people to know that people, I talk about the band a lot, but I get real enthusiastic about a band that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And I just connect with so much, and it brings a lot of joy to my life. It's not rational. It's not it's insane how much Halloween I listen to, and it doesn't hurt that my kid loves it. So it's on a lot. It's just, I feel like I'm making up for lost time with the Darius era because I missed it forever. I was too death metal, black metal, cult underground guy. But circling back around and realizing how good it was, I wish I could go back in time just to get these records when they came out. I just, my enthusiasm, I love the band. And I think it's cool. We got people talking about Halloween and they roll their eyes. I don't care. I love them. I think they're a great band.
They are a great band. And I've got bands like that. There's, I don't know, they're not a metal band, but there's that punk new wave band that's pretty recent from Canada, Homefront. And they're like, they mix kind of, like oi and like new wave. And it's super upbeat and it just makes me feel good. And I fucking love them. Even though the subject matter is usually very, kind of sad and just but it's like triumphant, like, hey, trying to get through life's struggles and through friendship and, like that band just makes me feel good and I love them, so it is one of those things you have to give credit to any band that can just tap into that part of your brain where you're like, I just feel good when I listen to this, and
there's something to be said for that. I love and gravitate towards dark music. I mean, I'm wearing a Joy Division shirt. I love dark, sad music, but something that I can connect with that shines a little light on the situation. And, Halloween to me aren't one of those schlock bands that if you listen to the musicianship, the layering, the songwriting, it blows my mind how good they are. The solos, I mean, I am not a good musician, but hearing these guys play, it's like, wow, I wish I applied myself a bit more back in the day. But anyway.
I feel that too. They're virtuosos, no doubt about it.
Oh, it's crazy.
And that record has what my dad describes as being brain splinters, which is things that get stuck in your brain no matter how much you want to get them out. And that album is full of brain splinters.
Yep.
Best Time, I swear, I think Best Time is probably one of the reasons that I'm sober now. Like, I partied so hard listening to that fucking song with people that hate power metal, hate metal in general. Like, you slip it into any playlist at a New Year's party and it goes off like a bomb. Like, it works great. in any context. And I think that album is really impressive to me just because it's kind of like, what's the Candlemass record where they got everybody together again? They got all the vocalists on it.
Oh,
one called, yeah. Or
It's from the 2000s. It was like
Yeah.
they did that, but they didn't screw it up.
yeah.
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 Yep. All right, Alan, time to show your Halloween record. Go grab one, put it up there.
No, I don't have one to show because Chameleons is not an album I wish I liked better.
No, no.
Not at all. But no, and props to Bill for shouting out Homefront. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Let's see. Well, I'm going to show. They're talking Candlemass in the chat. I don't have a Candlemass sound to show, but I do have something in that same kind of vein. Solitude Eternus with Adagio, which is their 5th album. Band I love. This album was the first one that I didn't really fully embrace. The first 4 albums I heard slightly out of order, but I heard all 4 of them before this one came out. And I love all 4 of those albums to this day. The second one, maybe just a little bit less than numbers 1, 3, and 4. But so yeah, when Adagio was coming out, it was like, oh, goody goody gumdrops, new Solitude. I mean, hell yeah, horns raised, new Solitude Eternus. We can edit that gumdrop thing out, right, Marty? Sure we can.
Sure.
Yeah, very excited when this was coming out. It was a little hard to find. This band always had issues sticking with a label, but tracked it down, got it, played it again, and there are 2 things after a few spins stood out to me. The first off was that this is too many fucking songs for a Solitude Eternus album.
Holy shit.
This album
Wow.
takes for. I mean, they're slow, epic doom to begin with, and when you have this many songs and they drag out, the album now is way over an hour. That's just too damn long. The second thing that stood out to me was like, out of all these songs, which one's the best one, the one that's the most memorable, the one that you want to hear the most on repeat, revisit. It's the last one, and it's a cover song. It's their take of Heaven and Hell.
Sabbath, yeah.
And they nail it. It's great, but when your album is this long and has this many tracks and the standout is the cover song, something's not working. And
That's a good video. Topic
would be
right
a good
there.
video. Yep. And yeah, it's just the album's too damn long and the songs just don't ever fully fire the way that so many tracks on the other albums do. It's not even that they change styles that much or anything. It's not that there's, a massive shift in lineup that reinvents their sound. It's just this album takes too long to get through, and it just doesn't have the highlights for me that all of the other albums do. The first album is just, almost, nothing but pure classics. The second album has songs on it I like. That one's, again, not my favorite, but it's fine. Albums 3 and 4, I think, are both outstanding stuff. And this one, there's a great cover song on it. I couldn't tell you anything about these other tracks, even after all this year. I've played this thing. I have sat down and given this so many concentrated listens trying to find that hidden spark. And I just can't find it. And I wish I could, because I love the band and I wanted that album streak to keep going. But they just kind of ran into a brick wall. Actually, I guess it's a staircase. It's kind of hard to see with all that fog, but yeah, they ran into something and kind of lost momentum here. Lost too much momentum making an album that was too long for me. So, I wish I could say that the first 5 Solitude Eternus albums were all awesome. I can only say the first 4 are really awesome.
All right. Okay, well, going to Norway. And this album was a big disappointment when it came out. I grew to like it, but it's not without its issues for me. And that's 9 Equilibrium by Emperor. This thing, technically, very impressive. They progress as musicians here, which, I mean, they were already amazing musicians, but they progress structurally, compositionally here. It feels more like the Isan show. And it still sounds remarkably like Emperor. They are completely an island upon themselves, or whatever, however you want to say that. But one thing that they left behind is that grim spirit atmosphere. I miss in the Night Side Eclipse, that thing was just swirling with, you felt like you were staring up at the moon coming through the clouds of a night sky. You could almost see the demons rising up to the heavens. It's just very atmospheric, organic, very all-encompassing album. And anthems, they got more complex, but they still maintained that sweeping atmosphere. Here they kind of started to lose it. I do like songs like an Elegy of Icaros, and I do like most of these songs. It feels a bit cold and lifeless to me. I just don't like where they're going. And if I'm going to make a twofer out of it, it continues with Prometheus. Technically a very impressive record. I like the playing on it. The drumming is amazing, but again, it feels like an Isan solo album. Complex, busy. They lost the feel. There's just, the atmosphere is gone. You don't feel like you're, on a journey. You're just kind of listening to a guy that practiced the shit out of his scales, which is cool, but I prefer the first two records, and the demo and the EP and the split much better. The EP, this is a split. That's Emperor to me.
I feel so bad for Morkaric. I feel like every album we've picked tonight is just we literally looked up his top 50 albums of all time and turned it into an episode.
Right.
Keep in mind, Eric, I still like the album, but I'm not reaching for it often.
Those records, they are cool. But they almost have more, like the black metal element is almost gone. It's like a technical black death sort of thing.
Proggy
with prog elements, and it's cool, but it's not Emperor in the classic sense at all. Yeah.
All right, Charlie, what you got?
All right. Well, I'm going to piggyback off of Alan's choice because Solitude Eternus is from Arlington, Texas. So we're going to Dallas, baby. Arlington is actually where Arlen, Texas, and King of the Hill is based on. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to choose a record that I feel really sad about putting on this list, and it's my first vinyl of the night. Being from Texas, you really can't pick and choose your heroes too much. There's just not that much to go around if you're into like black metal, death metal, thrash metal. There's like a couple standouts, sure, in every genre, but there's not an embarrassment of riches that you grow up surrounded by, like being a kid from Houston and having King's X be one of your local champions and they haven't even lived there for 20 years. That just tells you a little bit more about it. But Dallas, on the other hand, has a lot of great bands. Solitude Eternus. And this is another band from that area, not era. Iron Age with the Sleeping Eye. I really don't even know what to say. It says it on the front. It's a legendary Texas crossover LP. It's crossover thrash. There's a lot of spirit. There's a lot of fire. There's a lot of great performances on it. Nothing on this record sticks with me, no matter how many times I spin it. I don't know if this is one that you guys are very familiar with. I don't know what its reputation is beyond the borders of Texas, but this is like, they're all kind of related to the Eternal Champion Power Trip Camp. Same cohorts there. It's worth checking out. And again, it's not a record I'm ever going to get rid of. It's a huge part of Texas where I'm from. It's a big part of the metal history there, but it's an album that kind of just leaves me cold.
I like the cover art.
Cover art's great.
Yeah. I have it. I like it. Yeah. But yeah.
But it's one of those records that's like a local, like we kind of have to cling on to this because it's what we got kind of records.
Local heroes kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that there's a lot of love for that record out there in the world, and I'm happy for people to love it, but it's just not the one I want to. I would rather go pull a Power Trip record from the shelf, honestly. So, yeah.
All right. Iron Age.
Interesting. Yeah. Don't know.
Do better, Iron Age is all we're saying here at Heavy Metallurgy. Do better.
We're not mad. We're just disappointed.
we just expected more of you. That's anyway. Again, a great artist whom I love, and this is an album that a lot of people love, and I don't hate it, but it's certainly not my favorite. Not the worst, but Puppet
I
Master.
was going to pull that too.
Yeah. I feel like this has got a 90% on Metal Archives, and I'm like, what? 90?
Zal, my buddy Zoller loves that record.
Yeah,
He loves
I mean,
it.
It's good.
It's really good.
But this is not up there with Abigail or Them or Conspiracy
Or The Eye even.
or The Eye. Yeah, I think
Or The Graveyard even.
I like The Graveyard
Or Fatal Portrait, or
better than this.
Abigail 2, or
Yeah. I mean, it's better than Give Me Your Soul, Please.
Oh, that and House of God are my two least favorite albums by King Diamond. Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's not at the bottom of the barrel.
yeah, like it's not the worst, but I don't understand that there's that much love for this record, like that this is held in as like as high of regard as those classic King Diamond records. I mean, and yeah, the Puppet Master movies are fun, but I don't know, like a whole King Diamond concept record about
the whole shit about the butterfly. Remember the butterfly thing? It just makes me want to fucking stick something sharp in both of my ears and like, God, King, shut up.
I'm looking at the track listing, and there's like the song "So Sad," and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, he says that on every song. Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's making me think of. So I'm just I like it, but I just am shocked that this gets so much love in the King Diamond catalog, and I wish I could love it as much as obviously so many people do. So yeah, that one, it's a bit of a head scratcher for me. Good, but not top tier King Diamond in my
Do better, King Diamond. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
Do better.
Put out an album, please. You've been.
You didn't hit rock bottom,
like
King Diamond,
5
but you
years.
came kind of close.
Yeah.
Man.
All right, Alan.
Yeah, I would agree with that one, Bill. The thing I have, because I've picked at that one a little bit, Bill, too. It's like, why do people get into this one so much? I think what a part of it is, the music is really good on that album, and I think that's what kind of boosts those ratings. That just like, yeah, the way the songs are written, the performances are fantastic. But the thing that torpedoes that album for me completely is the story.
It's a story.
The story is just
and the way he conveys the story in the music, it's just it's so cheesy.
Yeah, it's far from his best. Yeah.
I mean, this is the man that's brought us Grandma and the tea, and Abigail in the basement in the cellar, and you get to this album, and okay, the concept I get is kind of creepy, taking people's souls and jamming them into puppets, and then you use them to perform puppet shows.
Yeah.
and then the puppets, conspire to seek their revenge. And how does the main character, when he's stuck in puppet, he's plotted and schemed, and now he's going to wreak his vengeance upon the evil man who's trapped his soul inside this doll. And how does he do it? By falling over during his Christmas performance. Fuck you, Puppet Master. Now you look silly because your puppet just fell over. The fuck are we doing? That's how he gets his revenge. And so what does the Puppet Master do? Well, fuck you, puppet. I'll just leave you on the shelf. You don't get to be in the show no more. Oh snap! You showed him. It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard on a King Diamond album.
Not Shakespeare. That's for sure. It's drama.
That's the story. That's the climax. You build for like 8 songs to get to this moment. That's what happens.
Yeah.
And how does the whole thing wrap up? Well, the evil puppet master retires and convinces his kids to become evil puppet masters and move to other cities to build franchises. I'm not making this up. That's
it's true.
What the fucking story is.
Exactly.
This
Not
whole
good.
new metal thing sucks. Let's bring back the concept album. Metal show System of a Down.
Yeah, I'm so evil. I'm going to conquer
Let
the
me
world
bring
one
the art
puppet show at a
back to
time.
metal.
We're starting here in this small town in the English countryside.
A grim
No
tale
sleep
of
till
evil.
Halifax.
Oh,
They now have
God.
evil puppet shows in 3 towns after 67 minutes of music. So you see,
Oh.
Bill, that's where the thing falls short. The people who aren't listening to the lyrics and just the music, yeah, they've got kick-ass music to listen to.
No sleep till Sesame Street.
Yeah.
But those of us who actually sat down and read along to King Diamond story time, we did it wrong.
Yeah, I read the lyrics and it was never the same after that.
Yep.
I can't get over that story. I can't. Is it my turn? Have I
It
not
is.
said enough?
I think it is.
Okay, back on track. There we go. Let's see. One that I really wish I liked a little bit more is Gamma Ray's Insanity and Genius. Yeah, this is their 3rd album. This is where they're getting back on kind of the traditional power metal train. The first 2 albums, Kai's working out issues with his inner child or whatever.
Killer songs on them, but not all of them are
like
killer.
those
Yeah.
two.
There are some that are okay, but yeah, if fair enough. He had done the Halloween thing for a while. He wanted to branch out a bit. That's okay. I get that. No problem. And that was the time to do it. New band, new vocalist. Sure, let's try a different sound. It wasn't for me, but on this one, the first side of this album, it really does feel like they've dusted off all the cylinders and the metal engine is firing up and it's really good. Even Ralph, Ralph's vocals have always been a sticking point for me. He sounds pretty good on this one. And so you go through the side A and I'm just like, yeah. Oh yeah, this is getting there. And I get to side B and it completely loses the plot somehow. And it's not that the songs on side B are terrible. They don't go back to just wandering around in, 70s, hard rock territory like the first 2 albums tended to. But the songs all of a sudden disconnect from me. And I really wish that was the album where I kind of got on board with Gamma Ray. But it ends up being an album that is very much A-side killer, B-side filler. So it takes one more album. It's not until the 4th album that I can fully embrace Gamma Ray. I really thought Insanity and Genius would be it, especially after that A-side. But no, it's one that I still just still don't like as much as I thought I was going to. So there we go. We're back on track after, King Diamond Allen story time there. Sorry about that.
All right. Well,
go ahead, Marty.
This band is very special to a dear friend of Charlie and myself. And King's X.
Oh.
Gretchen Goes to Nebraska. This is the 3rd time I've owned this album. In fact, the last one I got at a record show and I ended up giving it to Andy. Anyway, I think this is one of those bands to me. I listen to them and I really appreciate them. I think they are also a musician's type of band. They're a very amazing power trio. They're just a style that doesn't fit anywhere for me. I don't know where to put this band. I don't know that means anything. I should be able to just put on something and enjoy it. I don't know if it's Doug's voice. I still like it. He's got a soulful style of singing. I don't know what it is about this band. I put this on. I like it. I appreciate it, but I just don't ever, like I said, this is the 3rd time I've owned it. I'm going to hang on to this one because I keep circling back to it because our friend Austin, this is like, for me, it's Kiss. I get why people hate Kiss. I even hate Kiss, but I love Kiss because it was my band. This is like that band. King's X is Austin's Kiss. So I respect that. And I keep going back to them. And I've listened to some other stuff online. Was it Out of the Silent Planet or something? Really good. Yep. I just don't ever really find myself in the mood to know when to put something like this on. I don't know. It doesn't feel like beer drinking music. It doesn't feel like hanging around with the buds, jamming stuff. I just don't know where this fits. And like it's been mentioned a bunch in the chat before leading up to me showing it. And people dig this band and I get it. They're very talented. I wish I liked them more, but I'm going to hang on to it. It might click one of these days. So we'll see. Charlie, your thoughts? I'm sure you have some.
Well, I mean, I love King's X. Again, they're one of those bands being from Houston as I am, that you just have to kind of appreciate and love them, Galactic Cowboys. There's a whole smattering of bands there in the Houston sound that you grow up kind of in the just there around.
Well, even Galactic Cowboys. I mean, where do you put them? You know, I don't know.
I mean, the thing is, like, for me, when I was a kid, I was hanging out with like my friends and their parents would be drinking beer in the garage, literally listening to King's X and shit like that, like on a playlist with Typo Negative and stuff like that. And their moms would have tattoos that looked like the Gamma Ray album Alan just showed. You know? Like, it was a time and a place. It was like, but I remember like being a kid in the 2000s, like the early 2000s, and people being nostalgic for King's X then. And it was just a weird thing. So yeah, I don't know. I have a very like weird, deep association with them. But yeah, good thing that Austin's not here to see that.
Oh, he knows. So we talked, and I like I said, I gave him the one record. I'm like, give this to Andy or somebody, and yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I have the same exact issue, Marty. There's nothing wrong with the band, but I don't know what I don't know what to call them, but B, they're one band I feel like I'm never in a mood for either, because it's not like I'm in a mood for power metal. I'm in a mood for black metal. I'm in a mood for prog. I can't put King's X in any box. So the only time I would ever listen to them is if I'm specifically in a mood for King's X, which I never am. Because I've got a friend like that too, who's just, a huge King's X fan. And he, every time they would come out with an album, he'd bring it over. He's sitting there, and just, he's got that, look on his face. He's just like, isn't this the best thing ever? I'm just like, it's cool. I'm glad you like it. But yeah, I have that. So I just can't ever figure out what to do with the band.
Yeah.
So it's not just you.
Not that I need to compartmentalize music, but still, I just don't know where I would ever be in the mood to, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what the compartmentalization comes down to for me, is like, if I want to hear a certain thing, but King's X being its own thing, there's never a point where like I can't go to the thrash shelf and be like, oh yeah, King's X, because it's not going to fit there.
It's in the miscellaneous
that's
shelf.
how I often tend to listen to things. Like, I'm in a mood for, let's do some new wave of British heavy metal today. Okay, let's look at what I got for new wave of British heavy metal. King's X would be one of those things that sits on the random shelf with bands.
Bottom right corner where you have to get down on your hands and knees and wiggle
where they're at.
Unclassifiable.
The inchworm to find it, like, oh, there it is. And you're like, trying to get up off the floor. The dog's looking your face like, motherfucker.
It's the bottom right-hand shelf that's partially covered by the chair and the lamps.
It's got 15 years of dust on it. Yeah, you're like, oh, shit.
That's the shelf. Out looking for it. I know it's down here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had the same thing. Multiple friends that have loved them and tried to turn me on to them, and I don't know. I just can't connect to it. I don't know. Maybe it is that where I don't know the entry point for it to unlock in my brain. You know,
it sounds good when I listen to it.
Oh yeah, I listen to them like, yeah, these guys are great, but
yeah, they're great musicians. But
I always find myself doing one of these, waiting waiting for it to. It was almost done. I could say I did the effort and listened to it. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they ever wrote an album about sad passive aggressive puppet or something.
Yeah.
All right, Charlie. I see the disappointment on your face. It's time for you to take the room back.
Like bring him back to being pissed off, because here we go.
Eric, going out to you.
This one's not really right at Eric, but this is one that I think is going to piss a lot of people off. No introduction needed. This is the one of the classic Dark Throne lineup that I just, for whatever reason, can never connect with. I don't know if it's because I worked with somebody back when I was a dishwasher named Natasha, who is absolutely insufferable, or if it's just because the production doesn't strike me the same way as the records do around it. Transylvanian Hunger. I mean, if I was to get a tattoo of any black metal record, it would be that one. Like, it's part of my DNA. It's part of my everything. And Under a Funeral Moon as well. I mean, those were records that not only got me into the style, but they've carried through and held up to this day. And I know that this record does too. it just doesn't hold up for me. It doesn't have that same feeling of special magic that the others do. Even, yeah, see people trying to get their money back, but it's too late. It's already in my PayPal account. Again, I feel bad. I don't have a reason or an excuse beyond. I just think that for the records that sound like Under a Funeral Moon, like the ones that are really raw and bright and brittle, there's other albums that have that production style that I'm going to go to over this one. The first two Satyricon records, I don't know. Whenever I think about this record, I want to put on the first two Satyricon records instead. And for just how untouchable all of the albums around this one are. Like really the 5 around it, 2 before and 2 after. This one falls flat in that era for me. So
that one took the longest for me to absorb because it's so cold, but not just the riffing is just very it doesn't have an emotion in it. It's just cold void type of guitar playing. It's weird.
Yeah, it's not evocative. It's just like cold, like in a shitty way.
Yeah, I still like it though, but it took me a long time to where Blaze in the Northern Sky had more of an organic, ugly feel. This was just very kind of almost emotionless, but dark. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
I think I get where you're coming from though on this one.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same like fun and spirit of the album before it, and it doesn't have the feeling and the weight and the sadness of the record after it. So
yeah,
I struggle with it.
Yep. All right, good one, Bill.
Yeah, good one. All right, for this one, I'm actually going to talk about an entire band. I don't have anything to show because, again, this is a band that I know a lot of people love, and I've tried to get into multiple times. And on paper, I should love them, but Typo Negative, I've never really been able to get into Typo Negative. And I love goth, and I can see like Peter Steele's lyrics and how talented he is, and there's just something about Typo Negative that I don't know. And I've always thought maybe it's the Beatles influence because there is a whole lot of that sort of Beatles harmonies in Typo Negative. I don't know. What am I missing? What am I missing that I can't?
Can I tell you what you're missing?
Yeah. What am I missing?
You need to read Jeff Wagner's book on Peter Steele, because I was in the same boat as you and I read that book. And for some reason it clicked with me. I started listening to the music and now I like Typo Negative. It's weird.
Okay, I guess I got to read the book. I like Carnivore.
Carnivore ruled. Yeah.
Carnivore is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, and I guess maybe that was part of the reason that was, I don't know, like Typo Negative was maybe harder to stomach because Carnivore, the first Typo Negative record has a few nods to Carnivore, but I don't know. I remember getting Bloody Kisses and just not really feeling it, and everybody raving about it, and Black Number One being such a huge song, and I don't know. I just have never. I've listened to October Rust. I've listened to Life Is Killing Me, and it's just never connected. So I will read the book. That he's got an interesting background and life story. Yeah.
Once you realize, you listen to Typo and you think how unique they are, and then you read, and basically his biggest influences were Black Sabbath, the Beatles, and stuff like Sisters of Mercy.
Yeah.
And you listen to Typo, and it is the perfect cross section of all 3 of those fucking bands.
Yeah, and 2 out of the 3 of those I love. I love Sisters of Mercy and Black Sabbath. The Beatles.
Yeah, careless about
still
the Beatles.
A little, but I could probably, get over it. So I don't know. I'll read the book. Yeah, maybe that'll change my mind.
The book is really, really fantastic. Yeah, it gave me a different perspective and made me want to hear those albums because they talk about all of them. And yeah, being able to put the albums with the life experience that you read in the book, it changed it for me. Made me listen to the albums a bit differently.
I have a couple friends that have the Typo Negative tattoos, everything. They love that band. It's like one of their favorite bands. And
I bet you that's one of the most tattooed bands ever.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
By far. But anyway, yeah, it's mine. Typo Negative, just the entire discography. So I got some homework to do, reading the book.
Alan.
Well, I'll take the other stance. I read the book and I've listened to the music. didn't help.
It worked for me. It worked for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it
And
was.
It's cool that it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll actually kind of piggyback off because I had this in the stack, and so we'll just stick on typo. For
Every Metalhead's Barry White album is that one right there.
see, my Barry White album was always the Division Bell, but we've covered this before.
Yeah.
But what Marty said is very much correct. Typo negative boils down to some kind of balance between Black Sabbath and the Beatles. When they lean towards the Black Sabbath side of that equation, I can get on board, like with the the debuts. Was it Slow, Deep, and Heavy, Slow, Hard, and Deep?
Yeah,
Deep, Hard, and Slow.
I think, yeah.
Those three words like that. When they lean to the Beatles side of the equation, I'm out. No, I'm sorry,
Beatles
but no.
fan either.
The Beatles are not my band. I can appreciate the huge impact they had on generations of musics to come. Doesn't mean I gotta like them, because I cannot get into them. And I picked October Rust because I feel like this is probably the most Beatles album in their catalog. Folks who know their catalog in more depth than me, if you disagree, sure, you probably know it better than I do. But this one to me it really focuses on those Beatles kind of harmonies and melodies. Very more laid back, mellow. There's less Sabbath here and a lot more of that kind of stuff. And kind of like Bill, it just bores me. I just can't get into it that much. I wasn't a huge fan of Typo to start with. They always struck me as just a little goofy. I didn't see them as like this serious goth band or this like really dark metal band. I saw them as just kind of a goofy band. Again, with like the whole Black Number One thing. Fun song. I like it. But it feels slightly parody as opposed to,
I would agree. Yeah.
As opposed to it always distinguished itself that way, is where that little campy compared to what you'd think of as classic goth, whether it's Bauhaus or Sisters or Joy Division or whatever. So this particular album, out of the ones I've heard, too much Beatles for me to really get into it. And I wish I did, because again, like y'all highlighted, every other person you meet has the tattoo. Every other person worships at the altar of Peter Steele. The book is interesting, Bill, in terms of looking at his, personality and stuff. He was a very complicated person.
Yeah.
He's neither a hero nor a saint nor a total jerk, but there's a lot of, weirdness to his story. And Jeff does a great job of documenting it. But at the end of the day, reading the book did not endear me to the man or his music anymore, or less than I already was.
I will say it made me want to listen to the albums after reading about it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then when I did, I had a different perspective.
And that's where we parted. Because I was like, okay, I'll give, let's give them another chance. Some of the albums I had never heard before, worked my way through almost all the discography. I don't think I revisited the last one. But revisiting them, I was just like, it's great that Jeff, holds this band on such high regard, but too much Beatles, not enough Sabbath is usually the issue for Typo, and especially on October Rust. So, yep, I'll back Bill up on that one 100%.
All right, bands. We're going back to me feeling a bit betrayed, but this is so good. But I wish I liked it more. And it's Fate's Warning, A Pleasant Shade of Gray, the Ray Elder era in particular. I'm Team Arch. I'm Team Archibald. The first three albums are very special, especially Awaken the Guardian. And this era, again, it just gets a little too... The dynamics swing from metal often. Not that I need it to be metal all the time, because I do like a lot of non-metal stuff. And I do like some non-metal stuff in with my metal. But this just felt like a departure. This is stuff that I just I needed more splashes of excitement to keep my short attention span trained on this material. Again, infinitely talented, doing all the right things. And it's amazing. This band always sounded very much like a Metal Blade band. You can listen to whatever era, opening notes, you're like, oh, this sounds like it came out on Metal Blade, and it did. But I mean, look at that artwork. Try harder. Try harder. That's what I'm saying. Do better. But yeah, we talked about this band at length with Jeff on the channel. We ranked all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very long homework week for me. Very long, very tough. Again, from a musical standpoint, endless respect for this stuff. It is so well done. I get why people really like it. And Ray's got a beautiful voice. It's just, I don't know. I really can't put my finger fully on what is the disconnect for me on this stuff. I don't hate it. It really kind of bores me. Wish I liked it better.
Fair enough. I mean, and that album, and being one long song for however long it goes, yeah, it takes a lot of concentrating to keep up with it. I have trouble with that album too. And I like the Ray Alder era much more than you do. But that one is just like, gee, do I really want to sit through this? I don't know. I don't think I do.
Yeah. All right, Charlie, what you got?
Oh, let's see. All right, we're getting down to the last 7 or 8. I don't know if I picked exactly 15. This one is not going to be so controversial. I'll go with another LP. This is a record where there's a lot about it that I really like, but there's just a couple elements on it that make it one that I never reach for. It's like one of the best records on my shelf that I never put on and listen to. And that's going to be the first record from God Thrym on Profound Lore, Reflections. Really epic, really well done, kind of classic doom metal. There's a lot of heart. There's a lot to appreciate and enjoy and love. But at the same time, there's just all of these little quibbles, all these little irks when it comes to the production, the vocals. Could have used a little bit of editing down. And the artwork is just it doesn't look much better in person. Who cares if there's glare on the plastic? You're really getting the idea. It's kind of worn out. It's like, it looks like they're trying to do like a doom metal version of Ram It Down. But, I don't know. It's one of those records. Like, I can't bring myself to get rid of it, but I can hardly bring myself to put it on. It's like, I know it's good. I know that they're a good band, but they just leave me cold. And I think that part of it is as I get more into like the epic doom style, I get a lot more picky with it. And I leave a lot less room for error with doom metal bands than I do with a lot of other styles of music, That record, I don't know, is kind of like case in point example of that. It's worth checking out. There's probably a lot of you guys that know that record and enjoy it, or if you don't, you will when you look at it. For me though, God Thrym, they're a band I want to like, but yeah, I struggle to. So
yeah, that's a good point about doom, Charlie. I'm kind of the same way. And with that style, because of the pacing of it and the fact that it's not usually a really layered, dense style, I don't feel like there is a lot of room for error. That if something's not working, it's going to stand out. You don't have other tools to rely on necessarily. So yeah, when doom is good, it's really good. But I'm like you, I get really picky really fast. If a band's not coming together, it's obvious, and I move on. Right,
and they were a band that when that record came out, I was listening to a lot of Mournful Congregation too. And it was just the kind of thing where it's like there's other bands around this band that I would much rather listen to.
Exactly. Yep.
And I don't know, but it's worth checking out. I think that everybody should make their own opinion of that because there is a lot of good stuff going on here and on the record that follows it. The artwork is not one of those things, and there's a lot there where your mileage may vary, just depending on taste. So,
All right, Bill.
All right, let's see. Coming down to the wire here with the last few, but let's.
We'll have time for a few more rounds here, but yeah.
Let's talk about this again. Another, death metal. There are a lot of bands with long careers, And death metal, it can be hard to make albums that are all stand out from one another, especially if you've been a band for 20 plus years. So I love Dismember, but this is their weakest album for me, Where Iron Crosses Grow. 2004. I mean, it's not a bad record, but it just doesn't have as many exceptional songs on it as some of their other records do. And early 2000s also not the greatest time for death metal. I think a lot of the OG bands were kind of starting to run out of gas. I mean, the records, the next two they put out after this are far better. The God That Never Was, and then the self-titled or untitled record, which has been the last thing that they have released.
I really like that one though. That
album's awesome. Yeah,
their Maiden influences really came out on some of the harmonies. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And I think those last two records, the melody, and maybe there's an infusion of new blood in the band on those two. I mean, this one they didn't have a bassist at this point, so you had Maddie and Fred and I think Robert and David. So you had I think when you look at the credits, both Robert and David, the guitarists, kind of take turns playing bass on the songs that they didn't write. It's an all right album. I mean, cool Dan Seagrave artwork and stuff, but it's like, it's just a little lackluster for me. Doesn't stand out. Wish it was perfect. It's not.
It's still Dismember doing Dismember things, but it does start to blend in the middle era there towards the end. It starts to blend. It makes me really curious what the new stuff's going to be.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear something new, but I hope it's good.
Yeah. I think it's going to be the entire original lineup though, which is exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's rare. That's rare. Not a lot of bands actually are able to do that.
Right. Alan.
All right. Let's see. This is one. Yeah, Marty and I kind of on the same page with this album. I really do want to like this album. So far, I've never been able to quite crack it. I'm going to replay it next week. I was hoping to get to it this week and just haven't, because I've been on a kick. I've been revisiting this band's earlier stuff and enjoying it a lot. It's all classic. But then you get to this album, and I just cannot venture into the Pandemonium very far.
I almost put that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I almost did too.
Okay, interesting. Everyone's kind of the same way. It is such an influential album on so many artists that come later that I enjoy. This album has huge impacts on a lot of the 90s death metal stuff that would come out. Bands like Therion and Tiamat, and so many bands draw so much inspiration from this one particular album. It's widely regarded as kind of the first really avant-garde attempt in heavy metal. So I get that it's influential. I get its impact. I don't think of this as a hot take, just my summary of it in a nutshell. To me, it feels like a band that has a really grand vision, but doesn't yet have the means to accomplish that vision. They're doing what they can with the things they have available to them, but it's not enough to really pull it off. And they've got almost too many ideas that they just it pulls in a lot of different directions. The album doesn't ever feel cohesive to me. It's like, what if we did this? Okay, what if we do that? And so that the album's just all over the place. So there's just, for me, it lacks any kind of cohesion. It's trying to do so much stuff and not doing any of it at the scale it needs to. And a lot of that, again, wasn't their fault. The stories of them having to fight with the label, trying to get enough funding to put this together the way they heard it in their heads. Yeah, everyone knows those stories. You don't want to say like, oh yeah, they should have just done what the label told them. But maybe they did need to dial it, given that they only had so much to work with. Maybe they needed to dial it back a little bit and make the next album be the one. Maybe they needed one more album here before they tried to go this far into the deep end. I'd love to love this album. Celtic Frost, is a absolute huge band in terms of heavy metal's history. Can't count the bands that they've influenced. And so, yeah, I wish I was on board with the folks that really get this album. And there are a lot of people.
A lot of people love it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I feel like I'm missing out. I feel like, again, the kid with the tall pointed hat sitting in the corner of the room, that just doesn't get it. But man, I don't get it yet. But we'll see. Maybe next week will be the time. It is it's near the top of the 2 playlist. So we'll see what happens when I visit it next. It gets one more shot at least.
I will say, Human Falafel, this is a great comment. Into the pandemonium walks a monotheist could run. And that's a great comment. And I agree with that. But as Alan was talking, I'm looking at the track listing, and they're trying so hard to be avant-garde and boundary pushing. They at times forgot they didn't consider to make good songs. I mean, you look at One in Their Pride, and I Won't Dance. It's just, you got the Pointer Sisters doing backup singing on I Won't Dance. Fine, whatever. It's just weird. One in Their Pride is just a piss poor drum machine with a piss poor sample. It's if they're shooting for industrial, they did a shitty job at it. Mexican Radio. If you were to take Mexican Radio off, put Inner Sanctum first, and then Mesmerized, killed One in Their Pride, I Won't Dance, you're starting to get an interesting EP. There's just in some of the vocal choices, again, it ended up working for him as he got more comfortable with it, but up front, it was just a shock again, I talk about betrayal. This is one of those albums. I bought it when it came out. So excited. And man, the opening moments of that tape, I could still sit there, see the wheels spinning, and Mexican Radio coming. I'm like, what the actual fuck is going on right now? It was absolutely terrible. And then it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. But anyway, yeah, we
Charlie,
agree.
Bill, what are y'all's takes on this? Since we were all kind of on the thinking about this one, I'm interested to hear what y'all think of this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's they don't have the skill set. They're reaching and they're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, and unfortunately not a lot of it sticks. I mean, Mesmerize is probably my favorite song on the album. I like that.
So weird.
It's weird. I mean, I could tell in the most recent video that Pat from Ground Zero Salem, he was talking about this. He was talking about Bauhaus, and he was talking about The Sky's Gone Out and how they open with the cover, how they open with Three Uncles by Brian Eno. But that's awesome. And I think like probably Tom Warrior probably was listening to Bauhaus and maybe stole that idea, like he says. The problem is they don't pull it off. Celtic Frost doesn't pull off Mexican Radio as the first song, and I don't think it's a good choice for them.
What a piss poor choice of a cover song.
And I think that's the difference. Bauhaus picking Brian Eno, that's an inspired choice. Like Tom Warrior picking Wall of Voodoo, fucking terrible idea. Just does not fit with their aesthetic at all.
Yeah. I've heard some people try to defend that choice in terms of the band wanted to make this statement of, look, we're doing this thing. You can either get on board or you might as well leave now. I don't know if I buy that. Would a band really, is that really how you're going to approach making an album when you're, an underground metal band on a European label and this is your second full-length album? Are you really going into the studio with a limited budget, a grand vision, and you're going to say like, yeah, let's see if we can immediately alienate half our potential fan base by picking a weird cover song? I can't imagine that was really the thought process. I don't know for sure, but that I don't buy that defense of putting Mexican Radio at the start of the album. It's there for some reason, but I don't think it's that reason.
I think it was an artistic choice, and maybe it was meant to be bold and like, we're going to fly in the face of convention, but it doesn't pay off.
After reading that Noise book, I would bet $100 that Tom was so pissed at the label, he wanted to put a fuck you statement at the front of the album and also make the label pay royalty fees to another artist. I bet you that was a contributing factor. What do you think, Charlie, on the whole album?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with like all of those points. I mean, it feels like a band that is accidentally breaking new ground that they didn't earn. Like when it's interesting, it's not because they meant for it to be interesting there. When it's engaging, it's not because it's an intentional choice that they've made that results in it being engaging. Like, I don't know how else to put it other than there are some records that are seen as being like experimental and breaking the mold and avant-garde that are really just like, fuck it, let's find out what happens. But it doesn't feel like that energy is intentionally placed. And I think that that's like why this is, of any record they've ever done, maybe the most schizophrenic sounding one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the one where like I feel like I look at it and there's just this kind of question mark in my mind. It's like I still don't know what to make of it. It's really a bizarre record, not just in metal but in the world. And
Yeah,
I still wrestle with it. I still put it on quite often just to see where I'm at that day and how I meet that record. But yeah, it's baffling, and it's not the worst album that it could possibly be.
no,
But
no, it's not.
No.
Yeah.
But it's baffling in a way where it's hard to get into a mood or into a tone or into like, it's hard to create imagery in my mind when I listen to it too, because it's just so all over the place. I don't know what else to say other than that. It's a beautiful mess that has a lot of dumb stuff on it. But I would rather it exist than it not exist. Like, is it the kind of record that changes the way that I look at Celtic Frost? Does it like ruin the band for me the same way that some of their later records could? No, it's not. I think that if this was their last record and then Monotheist came out, it's better than Swan. Like, I would listen to it over Swan Song and that same kind of placement in their discography. Like, but unfortunately they kept going, and they kind of proved that every question that we had about their merit on that record was right. I'm stumbling over my words, but I just don't feel like it's avant-garde because they meant for it to be. You know?
Yeah, that's fair. Like, it's a band in identity crisis, just trying different things and seeing what happens, but not really knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it's cool, but it's not one of my ones. And
Those are great.
I'm not
points,
going to pay $54 for it.
No.
I got it for $1.99 on vinyl and the tape. Yeah.
Yep. No,
I
good
got lucky.
points, Charlie. And I agree with you, Charlie. I'm glad the album exists because it's had such a huge impact on so many people. So even if it's not the album for me, I don't resent its existence. I just can't get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is an album I do like. And if anything I've said today about albums that feel a bit alienating, this might be the end boss of that statement. But Gorguts Obscura. This album is fantastic. It is. I've seen them play when this album came out on about 4 times, I think. Wow, mind-blowing. But to sit and just listen to this just for it's challenging. It's a lot going on. There's a lot of riffs. It's very long. Look at the track listing. It's big. Like I said, there's a lot to unpack here. And seeing it live, seeing it played in front of you, it's a different experience than sitting and listening to it. You have the primal release of seeing someone beat on the drums and do the fast volume swell picking shit, and it's amazing to behold live. But sit and listen to it, it feels like someone strung you up and is hitting you with a bat or a golf club. And I much prefer Colored Sands, where they took the technicality and sculpted it into palatable songs. That to me is kind of an achievement. This feels like transitional. They're evolved out of the old school of death metal that was starting to get busier as they went. Erosion of Sandy is kind of a busy record, but this is just a hammering. It's a hammering. It's dense. It's at times melodyless. There's not anything for your brain to hang on to for safety, a safety net. It's just very rhythmic, very pounding. And yeah, I think it's impressive as hell. And I don't grab for it very often.
I don't think many people do. I love the album, but yeah, I don't think it's one people like, oh, hey, haven't played it in 2 or 3 days. Let's spin it again.
Yeah, exactly.
I adore that record for a very weird reason, which is that, yes, it's extremely cerebral and kind of avant-garde and weird. And like you can tell they're thinking and like almost like writing sheet music as much as anything else. But it manages to do that technical avant-garde dissonant thing while still being aggressive and pummeling. And it doesn't feel like a safe scholarly take on death metal. It feels like a scholarly take at death metal, but it's like articulate and cutting. It's like your dad telling you he's disappointed in you. Like it hurts more than just like your drunk uncle with a baseball bat, but like it's fucking brutal. You know, like it's like it's so I have to give him credit for that. But yeah, like do I reach for it as much as Colored Sands or Pleiades Dust even? No. If I want the brainy side, I go for that more often. But man, it does it'll make the hair stand up on my neck for sure.
It's amazing. Technically amazing. Yeah.
That's a great point, Charlie, about them. They really do keep the aggression and the heaviness and brutality while adding all the calculus into it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge evolutionary step for death metal. You see it and you're like, wow, like he was completely like charting a whole new path for death metal. And you can see how influential it's been on so many bands.
Yep. Yeah, it's a decade before Ulcerate.
Or bands like Mitochondrion or any of those other, you know, any of that kind of stuff.
Dodecahedron.
Yeah.
All right, Charlie. We can probably do what? 2 more rounds and we're done?
I think we have time for 2 rounds. Okay. That sounds good, Mark.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna leave my like last hot take banger for last. I'll go with one that I don't think is gonna be very controversial, but it's one that makes me kind of sad. You know, I think we all have those bands that will defend to the end of the earth, that we're always going to love. We're always going to listen to the new record. We're going to buy every single thing that they ever drop. Doesn't matter how shitty it gets. It could literally be Cold Lake and we'd still buy it. For me, one of those bands is Krallis. And I think everybody has their point where they drop off with Krallis. I actually love some of the new material. The one record that leaves me the coldest is this one, Loam. But the reason I'm picking this one as kind of the leading example is because it has Dave Edwardson of Neurosis on it. And it's a really special thing to hear him fronting an avant-garde kind of punk spirited, but cerebral, crazy black metal project. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't land. And it's difficult as somebody that loves a lot of the records around this and who grew up with Neurosis being like a huge part of my upbringing, to have this record come out and just to, from the moment I heard it, really not be a fan. And like Marty was saying earlier, why do I have this then on vinyl? Because I am a little bit sometimes collector scum. Yeah. And, you know, there's stuff to appreciate on it, but I can't bring myself to listen to it that often. So there you go.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they had a record with Dave the Bear, as they call him, as like fronting it. That's interesting. Like, I like Neurosis a lot too. In fact, I have the cover of Pain of Mine tattooed on my leg because I love that album so much. But yeah, him being in Krallis is an interesting collaboration. This is not going to be a controversial take, but this is kind of a more, again, like disappointment, where a band that you love, and probably what I would say one of the greatest drummers of metal, one of the most influential drummers of metal in this band, and me wishing that I could really enjoy this record more. I think the percussion stuff on this record is amazing. However, all of the rugga-dung runga new metal riffs and everything, the jump, the rugga-dung-ga-dung-ga-dung, like that thing. fucking hate it. I fucking hate it. Like in
Why do you have it on vinyl again? This
but
is
you know what? Here's why.
Here's why. Here you go.
I bought it was a box set of all the Sepultura records from the Roadrunner years. So it's all the Max stuff. So it's everything else I like except for this. This was included in it, but I kept it because I'm just like, well, I have the box set, and so this is part of it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'll listen to it every now and again, and I'll be like, wow, whenever the percussion stuff's going without the riffs, I'm like, yeah, this is cool. And then the riffs kick in, and I'm like, oh God, it's horrible. I'm like, oh, I mean, and again, the corn influence and all that stuff.
God,
I just wish it never
from
happened.
Beneath the Remains to that. I just
exactly. That's
God.
the thing. Like Beneath the Remains, Arise, and then it's this. I mean, KSID's fine. I don't mind.
It's fine, but it hinted it a groovier direction. It
hinted at this, but this is it's just I can't do it. It's just a betrayal. It is. It's a betrayal. Those riffs.
The betrayal. There it is.
It is a betrayal.
Yeah. All right, good one, Alan.
Yeah, I could never get into that album, and I had one of those friends who really got hooked on that album, so I heard it way too much. All right, we haven't talked about this one, but obviously it was going to happen sooner or later because it's on the thumbnail for the night.
Armored Saint,
Armored Saints, March of the Saints. Yep. Knew Marty would have it too. We've talked about this one. I'm not going to beat it into the ground. I revisited this one in the past month. All the early Armored Saint albums. I'm like, let's go back, give them a new spin. It's been a long time. And this really is my wheelhouse. Early 80s US metal, pre-thrash. I love this shit. I dig through this shit all the time. And Armored Saint's one of those bands that I just don't connect with. And it's weird because it checks every box, but something never comes together. Marty and I have boiled it down to a big part of the problem is production. The album's on a major label, but it's a major label that didn't really know what to do with metal music. And so, they always managed to kind of neuter Armored Saints sound too much.
Label mate Pat Benatar, which I love Pat Benatar, don't get me wrong, but
they're trying to make Armored Saints sound like Pat Benatar, and they're not Pat Benatar. So performances are good, but even just revisiting this recently, I'm still just like at the end, I've been like, okay, I've played it through, I've paid attention to it. I still just can't really bring myself to love it. And it's one band from that era that a lot of people do connect with. And to be honest, nothing in that early run of Armored Saint albums grabbed me. Delirious Nomad and Raising Fear, all of them is just like, nah, and nah. Yeah. But to be fair, I never connected with later Armored Saint either, so it's not like I'm biased against the early stuff. Symbol of Salvation, I know it's got this heartbreaking story behind it. You want to love the album for that. That album goes on forever and just keeps going and going. There's a song about a train, and it just keeps going and going. So, no, I just have to accept that Armored Saint's a band I do not hate. There's songs here and there that I think are good. I don't ever mean to rag on them for any reason, but I'm just never going to like them as much as other folks do. I wish I had them on the same level as other bands from that era, early Riot, early Manowar, any number of smaller, more obscure bands. Armored Saint should lead the pack. They don't, not for me. So, oh well, Marty, let's go ahead and pass it on to you. We've talked Armored Saint a ton, so I'm not going to keep going on it.
Agree on all points. We got a bunch here, but we're just going to let's go this route. You know what? Enslaved. This is a very severely fucked case. Monumention.
Is that because you threw it?
No, I didn't throw it. I haven't replaced the case because I don't love the album enough to do so. I really like Enslaved. They've had some bumpy patches. Frost to me is a okay record. but they got better with Eld. That's my favorite Enslaved record. This here, everybody they're pushing the boundaries. Metal dudes dipping their toe into prog, and it feels like metal dudes experimenting with a style they haven't quite wrapped their head around yet. Fair enough. The prog stuff on here feels a little out of place at times for me. The songs, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff on here. Well, there's 8 songs and an outro. It feels like a long listen because I never really fully connected with it. I like what they did after this much, much better. They got way better at this style as they went. This was their transitional record. When it came out, it was like the second coming of whatever. It's like, oh my God, Enslaved. I get it. You start doing some new things and people salute. I get it. But it's just, this never connected. Never loved the cover art. The whole thing. I prefer what they did after. I preferred what they did before. They got much better at this style. This was just a bumpy start for me. Wish I liked it better. Again, if someone put it on hanging out, I'd be like, okay, cool. But yeah. Charlie, last round. What you got?
All right. Well, in the spirit of it being Weft release day, it's a blue album cover, and that record is inspired by a number of 90s records with blue album covers. Blood on Ice Bathory, My Arms Your Hearse, Emperor. So let's choose a classic blue album from the 90s to round this out. That's going to really piss some people off. Don't get it. I do not get this record.
That's rough. That's boring. A rough one.
It's boring to me. It's cheesy. I really struggle with it. It is nowhere near what comes after. I think I even like the third record more than this.
Oh my God.
I know.
Oh, man.
I know. I had to drop a bomb on the last one. Come on. Yeah. All sales to Bind are final. Just a reminder. From the first song, Black Horizons, it doesn't need to be 8 minutes and 10 seconds long. It's not developing anything. It's that same issue of repetition that I just... All right. Well, look, if Eric's gonna... So while we were talking, Eric sent me a text and said, R.E. Jester Race.
Oh, shit. That's amazing.
So sorry to out you, Eric. Love you. I've always struggled with this album. And again, I'm always going to give it another chance. I'm always going to put it back on. I've had this for as long as I've been into black metal, but it just doesn't do it for me. It's really only 45 minutes long. Yeah, I don't know. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sorry to end on that note, but I figured I'd end with a real disappointment.
That's fair. It took me a while to get into that one. I agree. I like the second one better. For me, the issue with Somberland was production. The drums on that one always seemed kind of clanky and grated on me for a long time. Mm-hmm. So now I can understand having some issues getting into it. I got there eventually, but
now I do intend to get a copy of the Dan Sueno redo. He went back and redid the record. I think, what was it, 2023? Something like that. There's a remaster of the record that a lot of people recommend to me because it's so vastly different from the original. So I'm kind of curious to give it a shot. And again, it's one of those records I'm going to keep trying. In the spirit of choosing records where I want to like it more. I really do want to and intend to keep trying to like this album more. I just can't say that it's in regular rotation for me at this time, and that makes me sad, and I'm so sorry.
All right. What you got, Bill?
All right.
I don't know what to say to you right now. It's fine.
Yeah,
I get it. It's fine.
We're not speaking anymore, but
no, it's not that bad. I'm still trying to process it.
Yeah.
Hey, all right,
Marty,
I'll end with this again.
Oh, sorry.
Probably.
Quick question, Marty. What did you have on your last pick? Since I was keeping a record.
Oh, Enslaved Monumentation.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I just needed to write that down. Sorry, Bill.
Oh, you're good. All right. Last pick for me. Another comeback record that is underwhelming. Judas Priest, Angel of Retribution, and I've got I'll say 2 words: Loch Ness. Loch Ness, a 13-minute song from Judas Priest. That did anybody? I mean, and then that's previewing, of course, a record that's really fucking bad. Nostradamus, the worst fucking record they've ever released, in my opinion. Yeah, I wish, like I said, I was super excited about Halford's return, and then I got that record, and it's okay, other than Loch Ness being garbage. The rest of it's okay, but yeah, it's not the triumphant return I'd hoped it would be. I think Firepower is the best thing they've done since his return. I think that's the record. Like, the last one, again, was overly long. And
it's too long, but it's still
Yeah,
good.
it's
too
still
long,
good.
though.
It's too long, though, and it does feel so digitally polished, that new one, that I'm like, eh. But Firepower I like. But yeah, Angel of Retribution, Loch Ness, totally. If it wasn't on there, I'd like it better. But it's my final pick for the night.
All right, good one, Alan.
Yeah, I wanted to push back a little bit, and then you said Loch Ness. I'm just like, yeah, I ain't dying on that hill.
Took the fight right out of him.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay.
Like, oh yeah, that happened on that album.
Yeah, you're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a proof of concept album. Yeah, that we're back. We can still do it pretty good. So yeah. Loch. Oh boy,
Loch Ness is ill-advised. Ill-advised.
Yes, it is. All right, let's wrap up with another one that I don't hate this album, but I really do wish I liked it more. It is Immortals: Battles in the North, with the old promo cover art.
That's a little tough. That's a tough one too.
Yeah,
I get the silliness and the cheesiness of it, but it's still pretty great.
It has its moments. I don't dislike it, but the big thing is, again, I love Pure Holocaust. It's one of my favorite black metal albums of all time.
Yeah.
I like most of the Immortal discography. I've even started coming around on Blizzard Beasts in the past year or two. But Battles in the North is still one that I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it fits quite right somehow. I don't know. Again, I've documented, I had a weird experience with this album at first, because when I ordered it, I thought it was going to look like this, and I got the cover with the white picture with them kneeling in the snow, which I didn't like. And it took like 6 damn weeks for the place to ship it to me, and it arrived on a day when I had food poisoning, so I was like, puking my guts out. So yeah, it showed up under dubious circumstances. But yeah, even those things aside, I never did connect with the music on Battles. It's the one in their catalog, at least in the first half of their catalog, where I'm still just like, I'm trying.
It maybe because of the unnaturally sped up drums?
The pacing on it does feel just odd, and especially after Pure Holocaust, an album that is torrentially fast but very fluid. And here it's trying to be torrentially fast, but very mechanical.
I've heard that they sped up the tape to get it faster, but I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know if that's true either, but I can see why people would think they did, even if they didn't. So yeah, I like the band a lot. I like most of their stuff quite a bit. This is the one that kind of prevents me from saying I like all the early Immortal. It's like, well, I like most of the early Immortal, and I wish it was a clean sweep, but not quite there yet. Good enough to own, not good enough to get a real strong endorsement, though. That's Battles in the North for me. Marty, I guess you're going to wrap us up here. What you got?
I could go with the one that would disappoint Alan, but I don't want to do that today. He's had a good day. So we're going to go with this one. Harmony Corruption, Napalm Death.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Death metal record, yeah.
This one, I'm always quite surprised when I see so many people, sing the praises from the mountain for this record. A good death metal record, yes. It's just a weird, you go from Enslavement to Obliteration. Well, actually that EP, Mentally Murdered, you go from that to this. They've completely stripped everything punk away from their sound on here. They recorded it more sound. Scott Burns production. It's a very murky, muddy sounding record. I don't love the sound of this record. You know, when we talked to Scott Burns and you read the book, Mick Harris had a hell of a time trying to play in time. He had that crazy explosive punk, Rhino Charge blast beat. And here he was trying to get him to play with a click and all this. It's completely upended the apple cart of what Napalm was up until this point.
Yeah. Nick was used to being sloppy. Here he needed to be precise. He copped attitude about being called out for it. All kinds of issues.
So, I mean, the riffs are good. The songs are good. It's such a weird change, and I do like it, but I wish I liked it a bit more. I just think I don't love the sound of it. Very murky sounding record. They got way better after this. They brought some of the punk essence back, even though they maintained that death metal essence. They brought the punk back in, interjected it back into the music as they went. They perfected it. Yeah, they had some side steps. You get around the Diatribes era and all that. There's some groove elements enter their sound, which at the time I wasn't crazy about, but now it works. It was kind of forward thinking for the time. Just do boring. Yeah.
I like what makes you want to like it more.
Yeah. But this always to me has been, I got this tape when it came out and I was psyched. I listened to it a ton and I still have an appreciation for it, but I, didn't love it. So I think it's a good transitional record, something they had to get out of their system to realize, with an ever changing and evolving lineup like they've always had, it takes a minute to get to where you're going, and they finally figured it out. Now, hell, they're putting out some of the best records they've ever done. The last handful of records they've done. We did that deep dive with Albert from Decibel. I was shocked at how good they've really mixed the punk essence is really a big part of their sound again. And they do it really well. They're really good at they're writing good songs. So,
and there's a band, to circle to a point we've made a few times now, there's a band that's integrated the sounds really good. It's not like they have punk song and then metal song or punk section then metal section. It's like, no, they've blended the two to arrive at a really good sound.
They're experimental. They're like they almost remind me of Killing Joke at times. Like they get away with a lot, surprisingly.
Killing Joke, Swans. Sound. I hear some Swans in their sound and stuff like that.
Like the opening to Apex Predator. I should not be down with that as the opening track, but it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think the reason that I always want to like Harmony Corruption more than I do is because the name rules. The album cover looks classic. When you're holding up the CD copy, like the spine, everything, it just screams that it should be amazing.
Yeah. There we go.
All right, Bill.
3 hours of disappointment.
Haven't heard that since the last time I played Division, Bill.
3 hours? You mean 3 minutes?
No.
Well, everybody.
Bill, Charlie, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's been really, really fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been a blast.
Yeah, guys. Bill, what you got coming up on the channel? I know you've been really annoying your viewers with too much content, but
burying them alive. I am going to do a year-end list. I promise. Year-end list. So
you are not sufficiently entertaining Marty lately.
I know. Well, it's only been 8 months since the last video I made, so it's like I will do a year-end list, and then my New Year's resolution is getting back to making videos on a regular basis. So, yeah. And then, of course, Uncrossed recording. So new music, new EP, beginning of next year. Coming your way.
Very cool.
Well, I only tease because I like your content. I like you and I like your content. So I'm looking forward to you coming back.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
And thanks for joining.
Let us know when the Uncrossed material is available. We'll be glad to help spread the word a little bit.
Hell yeah.
I will, for sure. Thanks.
Charlie, again, well, I'll pull myself up here. Everybody, his new album, his debut album, I'll let you do it. Drops today on Binary Recordings.
Yep.
It's a banger.
Appreciate it. Yep. From the album cover, you could tell. Blue album, very 90s inspired. Yeah. I hope that everybody enjoys it that listens to it, and maybe it'll be one of your albums that you wish you liked more.
Yep. Link to Charlie's Bandcamp is in the description. And yeah,
Charlie, you got one last question here. From,
I love
Jay.
Hellstar. Yeah. So
Hellstar rules. Hell yeah.
Hellstar absolutely rules. And that guy will just show up at random restaurants and bars. He's still around. So
Cool.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, awesome. Everybody, thank you so much. I know Sunday over at Shredbeard's channel, Miss Anthropy is going to be their guest. Go check out that.
Go. We should have mentioned this at the start of the show tonight, but this weekend, when you've got time, go check out Jimmy over at Future Ruins. They were doing a show tonight also.
Yep.
Picking some of their best albums of the year. So please go check that out.
And thank you everybody for the super chats and for joining us as always. We really appreciate you. And until next time, you two don't hang up. We're going to chit chat for a minute. Till next time. Oh, Wednesday, we're doing a Loud Blast record for the album club. I don't remember which one it is off the top of my head, but yeah, Loud Blast. Oh, we're going to be doing that on Tuesday as well, since Wednesday is Christmas Eve. So
okay, so a special Tuesday edition of the album club.
Special Tuesday edition for sure. So
and the night after Christmas, once you're done opening everything, you can come join Marty, I, and a whole bunch of guests. We've got a lot of the Metallurgy crew together to do our end of year show. We'll each be picking our 10 favorite albums that came out in 2025, some honorable mentions, goof around, and have some fun with quite a few folks who've contributed to the channel all year.
Right on. We appreciate you all. Cheers. See you next week.